Wait, why is this shit on the Wi-Fi? All right, there we go. All right, we are live. This is the place where sports opinions collide, dead in sports. I'm your host, Kenneth B. Inge. Joining me, as usual, we have FIFO 24/7.
What it do?
And Mr. Disrespect from the No Disrespect podcast, a.k.a. Nikki Duce, a.k.a. too many a.k.a.s for me to name.
Oh, no, there's only one more. It's your boy. That's all it is. I'll do the rest on my own show.
I got you.
NDR 513. Check it out. IG and Twitter.
Yep. So yeah, if you guys watching this, obviously, if you look at the time, you see it's way earlier than our usual time. But hey, man, it's the end of the year, man. Brothers are off.
We called off. All right, we doing this for y'all. We put our PTO in for y'all.
Yep. So we just trying to go ahead and get this stuff in and out to you guys. So yeah, man, we're gonna go ahead and jump right in it. Right now, I got good levels. We lost audio last week, so. And I didn't have my phone. Normally, I check everything.
Yeah,
so,
I had the outline, and they was hitting me on Twitter like,
nigga, you didn't say anything?
I didn't see it till afterwards. That's what I'm saying. I'm reading the questions. I can't do both.
I thought you had a notification pop up.
No. I turn off.
But I got my phone with me this time, and so I'll be checking to make sure everything looks good. I still got to put that episode up for you guys, but you guys can go just listen to the podcast. It's out now, Dead End Sports, wherever you listen to your podcast. So, all right, man, let's go ahead and jump into it.
Well, talk about the most exciting team in football with the Ravens, but in a different way. Seattle just won last night. They beat the Carolina Panthers.
Yep.
And now now they're the number one seed in the NFC. As quiet as it's kept.
Mm-hmm. I think the bigger. I think you messing up.
The
bigger story.
No, I was gonna say this though. What's more impressive? The Ravens being the number one seed in the AFC, or the Seattle Seahawks being the number one seed in the NFC.
I think the bigger story is the Niners falling from second or first to fifth.
I'm gonna get there.
I think that's even bigger because I think that when you look at football, right? I think the Ravens have the most dominant offense. The most juggernaut, like you can't stop it. You can barely slow it down.
What they average, like over 30 a game or something like that.
And if you look at the defensive side of the ball, because we already given it to Baltimore on the offensive side, the defensive side is who? The 49ers. Well, nobody got a more intimidating defense than that. And for them to go and obviously have what's the record, like 10-7 or 10?
They're 11-3 now.
11-3. To be a fifth seed and you got Dallas out here like 500,
7-7.
Yeah,
come on, man! Like, what kind of sense that make? So that's why I'm saying for me, the 49ers are the bigger story.
Well, well, that's because your expectations. I've been the only one that's been very low on the 49ers as far as like them being that legit and being a real contender. I'm more surprised about Seattle because Seattle is like, you talk about the 49ers with their defense. Seattle's defense is like 27th to 28th.
Yeah,
their offense is like 20. It's none of their record and where they are. They should not be there at all.
You know what it is? It's the magic word. Context. It's context. You have a Super Bowl coach in Pete Carroll, somebody that is a motivator. You have a consistent from day one quarterback, right? Doesn't matter if he only throws for 150, barely 200 yards a game, or he throws for 300, or he gets 5 touchdowns, or he gets 1 touchdown. What they do, they win. And they don't win pretty. They just win. That's what they do. So for me, that's why I'm not surprised about Seattle. Like, how many times we've been doing this show in the last 5-6 years that we don't say Seattle's gonna be a playoff contender or a Super Bowl contender? And it doesn't matter what's on the roster. They got Pete Carroll, they got Russell Wilson. They're gonna compete. That's just where they are. So that's why, again, for me, it's not a story.
And, well, for me with the 49ers, I'm not surprised because Jimmy G was average as hell. He had 200 yards and a touchdown. He was basically he was Mr. Irrelevant. Like I don't know how he really impacted that game, and I know he's coming off, almost putting up 50 against the Saints. But to me, that was just both teams had bad defenses. That wasn't much. That didn't really reveal anything to me except that how much time is left on the clock is whoever's going to win the game.
It's like I said in the chat, and I think Kyle nailed it. And I didn't really even notice it until he pointed out. As much praise as we give Kyle Shanahan, Kyle said in close games he always mess up. And we saw what happened with the 49ers, and 3 of the losses that they've had this year rest on his shoulders. And
Seattle, that Seattle loss
San
was on him?
Francisco. Yeah, because I think they had a chance to win that, and he didn't run the ball or something like that. So there was some in-game, some situational
He throws
moments.
a lot on like 4th and 1.
Yeah, that he messed up. Now I didn't get a chance to get any information about that, but Kyle pointed it out again last night, and his coaching decisions in key moments is suspect in big games or close games, and he did it again. Like, if you know that you've lost 3 defensive starters, you lost Richard Sherman didn't play. I think they lost another safety, and then somebody else was out. When I look at the box score and they put up 19 points. Now I understand 6 of those was a fumble return at the end of the game. It don't really count, but you still gave up 13 points in the fourth quarter. That shouldn't happen against the Falcons. You did lose at the last moment, but you didn't do anything to make sure that you won in that situation. Jimmy G didn't. Kyle Shanahan's coaching didn't. Coach Jimmy G up, because you still got to coach him up. For them to lay that egg is not surprising, because they just had coming off a big high. This is the ultimate letdown game. And I give you another example. Look what happened to the Houston Texans. They got smacked by Miami? Was it Miami that beat them?
No, it was
somebody that was bad. Jacksonville. That shouldn't happen. You just beat the Patriots, demolished the Patriots, and you lay an egg like that. But then you go out and beat the Tennessee Titans, who was 6-1,
and in your division.
Yeah. So sometimes these things happen. Like, you get ahead of yourself, and because of that, you went from 1st to 5th.
But you're the 49ers this year. So far, right now, up to this point in this year, you're the top dog for real in the NFC and Denver in football outside of Lamar Jackson.
Yes, but you became the top dog.
You know what I'm saying? And you're at home, and this is the Atlanta Falcons. They're supposed to be a lottery team, so this should be an easy. You just need to clinch your division. You can get number 1 seed. Like, you got Seattle on your ass.
Yeah.
There's been pressure still this whole season.
Easier said than done. The damn Falcons.
Sunday.
Yeah, any given Sunday. Plus, the Falcons have beat Super Bowl contenders.
But
this year.
going into the game,
the Jets beat the Cowboys.
Going into that game, who did you expect to win?
No, of course. But even the Saints game a couple weeks ago. Come on, like the.
We always talk about there's a difference, man. Come on.
I give you that, but at the end of the day, if I'm looking at it, right, like I'm looking at Super Bowl contender versus a top 5 pick team. Who did you have in that game? All right then. So at the end of the day, any given Sunday, but
we can't just say any given Sunday on everything.
No,
say about any game.
It's not.
But we do say it for everything because it applies.
But for this situation, you have to stomp on their throats. You still need to prove yourself as a QB and as a team that y'all legit. But you got to get these easy wins that you can.
But here's the thing, though. Like, the thing that we know about the 49ers is that their team balance is lopsided, right? They are a defensive team. They are not an offensive team, even though they have an offensive head coach, even though they do have a franchise quarterback for the future, and even though their GM, John Lynch, has done an amazing job putting this roster together, they still have a major unbalanced defense to offense. So this is not really a balanced team yet. And for them to dominate the way that they have, for them to do what they have done, right? Of course, you're going to have some letdown. This is football. Injuries, letdown, an inch here, inch there, wins you or loses you games. At the end of the day, the thing I don't like about football in general, right, like in the NFL, is that you can have a team that's 10-3, right, and you have a team that's 7-7, and they're guaranteed for the playoffs. To me, that don't sit right with me.
And they're still in the playoffs.
But I mean, it's a loophole. It's just a loophole, and because it rarely happens like this. Because last time I remember a situation like this, it was that Seattle's Seahawks team that Marshawn Lynch was on when he ran over Shannon Sharper or something like that, Darren Sharper, and they were like 7-9 as a division and at a home game, and the Saints were like 11 or 10-5 or so, 10-6 or something like that. It's just like, how does this happen?
Yeah.
But like it doesn't. It's just a loophole. You win your division, you're in the playoffs, as you should. Anybody else, you could say that to anybody else who's a sports fan. Like, okay, that makes sense. That's the only reason why.
But they got to put caveats. Like, you got to be over 500. It don't feel.
So
right.
then what is it? But then you cheapen winning the division. If it means that even if you do win your division, your record still don't mean nothing.
You should be a better team. Because we talk about just putting the what is it, the 16 best teams in basketball. It should just be the 12 best teams in football. Forget the division.
Well, I think this is just a teachable moment. for them, and they know just like Pittsburgh, they have no room for error, so they have to win out and hope to that Seattle or somebody lose ahead of them so they can get back to the top spot. But it is what it is, man. And you made a point last week that the Falcons were playing really, really well right now. So because they have been playing good football, they made some changes defensively, there in a couple of weeks ago, and it kind of turned it around. I think Dan Quinn's going to come back.
I don't know about that one.
And that's the disappointing
I was about
thing
to ask
that.
you, did you think he was going to come back?
I said it a few weeks ago.
Who is coaching for his life right now?
I think he's coaching his way back.
I put it to you like this. I think unlike Mike Smith before him, he hasn't lost the locker room.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think he's lost the locker room because obviously they're playing hard. They just, especially the last 2 years and particularly, like they've had a lot of key injuries that just have derailed them. But with that being said, we've seen the regression of Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan is no longer playing at an MVP.
Well, I disagree with that because if you look at his numbers, even last season, he had like he had like a top 5 QB numbers.
Context. Is it translating into wins? Are they dominating?
They were 7-9 last year, so yeah, you're right. It didn't translate to wins, but again, you mentioned last season, y'all damn near half of y'all's starters was hurt. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that season is like, how can you really blame it on him?
Of course.
This season, they still have some key injuries, but
it was
they're
more
5-9 right now. They could end up being 8-8, and then you'll be like, okay, that's still progress from last season.
You said 5-9?
Yeah.
So that means they can only be 7-9
or 7-9. Okay, damn.
Yeah, out the playoffs.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's one of those things, man, with the damn Falcons. I'm not anti Dan Quinn.
If they win out, then what?
Doesn't matter.
It don't matter to you?
Nah, because here's the thing, because I want to say that I have not been anti Dan Quinn. I've been anti their offensive damn coordinator, whoever the hell it is now.
Cutter.
Yeah, Dirk.
Oh, yeah.
Steve Sarkisian. Ever since they lost Kyle Shanahan, I've been anti whoever they've picked.
And you knew Cutter couldn't well, I think he was a better offensive coordinator, but we saw what he did with Jameis Winston. Mm-hmm. And hey.
Oh,
hey, man. Hey.
I do have a question about that.
I'll wait.
I got a question about it.
I'm patient.
We can get to it right now.
But,
if you got anything else about
No, I'm patient. But yeah, I mean, so any given Sunday, I from what I'm reading, they made a lot of mistakes. But Kyle Shanahan, we need to start paying attention, and not as a coach overall, but a coach in close games and key moment or big games.
And it doesn't help that he got Seattle in his division because they played the last week of the season. That could be for the that could be for everything.
That could be for number 1 or for number 5.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I think the last thing I'll say, I did pick them to go 4-4, so they're 3-3, so they right on target to do that. So my expectations was 500 for the second half of the season anyway. It's just the games that I picked them to lose and win have been drastically off. So if I evaluate what they've done, they've beaten playoff teams. They just happen to lose, except for Seattle, of course. But then they go out and lose to the Falcons, and I think that's where any given Sunday comes in.
Yeah, and they lost to Baltimore close, which nobody,
no, of course,
no one holds out against them. But these are the teams that you're going to play in the playoffs.
Yeah, and exactly.
You may see Seattle again in the playoffs. You may
see New Orleans, but you know that you can run with New Orleans now, so you have confidence there. And then you could also say, man, if we could beat New Orleans, we could beat Seattle. So why can't we beat Seattle? And we almost beat Seattle. But coaching.
So let me ask you this, Ken. Can we not say the same thing that you're saying about Kyle Shanahan? Can we not say the same thing about Andy Reid?
Coaching in key moments?
Getting them over the hump?
Yeah.
Getting them all the way right there.
Well, I think we can. With Andy Reid.
Because he coached in the Super Bowl.
But he has a lot of success, like over decades, right?
No, of course.
So I think that's
his
why
resume's bigger.
Yeah, that's why people won't do that with him.
But at the end of the day,
same energy.
Exactly.
They need to.
So that's why I put it out there because even though Kyle Shanahan's resume is a lot shorter than Andy Reid's, right? Big time. Because you talking about Andy Reid's probably coached almost damn 30 years almost.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And Kyle Shanahan's barely been in a decade. But you talking about coaching an MVP, taking a lowly team to the Super Bowl, bruh. Like, they had one of the best offenses under Kyle Shanahan. Then he goes and gets his head coaching opportunity. And what are they? They're almost a number 1 seed. And then they take a lowly offense And they are respectable. They are not the best offense by no means or stretch of the imagination. But a lot of people had questions about Jimmy G, including yourself, right? But we have to respect the fact that Jimmy G is above the fray. He just is.
He's winning games.
He's winning games.
You can't deny that.
And it's not like he looks bad. He looks pretty.
That's
He's had bad games, right? Especially early on, coming off of the injury and all of that.
He's slightly above average. He's a slightly above
but now
average.
he's in midseason form, and he looks like he's a franchise quarterback. He just does, especially coming off of that game from New Orleans. Come on, man, who's going to question that? So
It looks like he's gonna
you're gonna be all right.
repay back that contract.
Exactly.
At least.
You draft a wide receiver in this
Yeah.
upcoming draft because this is a very deep wide receiver draft. You get you a wide receiver, maybe one of them in free agency, maybe one of these Browns players that wants out. That offense goes to a whole nother level now.
Yeah, that contract that you scoffed at looks a lot better now. But
Wait.
obviously because of inflation. It ain't because of it made a lot of sense at the time. He didn't
No,
even
it didn't.
He didn't even have 10
they were,
games on
they
his
were
resume.
paying,
Off
they
of
were paying,
potential.
potential.
Yeah.
But
And
he's
I think
realizing that
I think they were
potential
paying
now.
off of because of Kyle Shanahan. I don't even really think. I think Jimmy G was just like, we can.
It could
this
be
is an
both.
opportunity right now, and Kyle Shanahan just wants a QB, and why not?
I think
get
when he
somebody from Belichick?
played in one of those games down the stretch, I think Kyle was like, "All right, yeah, this the guy. Get it done, and let's
Better
make
than Mitch.
let's have Nick Foles.
Better than all that.
He got paid too, and woo,
He only
Jesus
got
Christ.
80 though, and that was more for the Super Bowl.
For
That
how
shit
many
was
years?
fully
2?
guaranteed, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
So it's around the same. Nah, man.
He got hurt this season too. He broke his collarbone.
And Nick tore and Jimmy tore his ACL.
Yeah. Jameis, did he did this win? Did it keep his job in Tampa, or did that just means he can be another starter in the NFL?
I 458, 4 touchdowns, and only 1 pick. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that at all. And I haven't read up on it, but I think games like that, as the season progressed, he's starting to pick up this offense. He's starting to put up Bruce Arians-like numbers in that offense. And if he can get those turnovers down, they're 7-7. They have the same record as the Cowboys with less talent, an inefficient quarterback or a turnover-prone quarterback, and are 7-7. No running game, no defense at all. He lost Mike Evans for the rest of the season. Chris Godwin is out for the rest of the year.
No, they don't got they got defensive players though.
They don't have a defense.
They don't have a complete defense. No.
They don't have a defense. That defense is terrible.
Because Shaq Lawson, I think he's on that.
Yeah,
squad.
their defense overall is horrendous, and they lost a lot of games because of that, which made Jameis have to do more or try to play hero ball. 20-some picks, but I think the next 2 games will tell me. I think this was a big game for him. This was a big game for Bruce Arians. In order to evaluate him, because this is all this is you applying for your job, and we'll see the next 2 games. But I think this was a big step in the right direction.
So if he wins out, you think he stays?
It depends on how he plays. Even if he loses,
So even if he wins, it's not guaranteed.
if he puts up 350, three touchdowns, 0 picks, 0 fumbles, on average for over the next 2 weeks, I think he'll stay. And he shows that he has command of the offense, that he's not making poor decisions as a quarterback. I think he'll stay. But he has to show Bruce Arians that he can be coached.
I think this sole decision is only on Bruce Arians. If Bruce Arians wants him, he's gonna be back. If he don't want him, he ain't gonna be there. And like Ken said, like these numbers are very Bruce Arians like. I remember the first time I really got put on to Bruce Arians was when Coach Pagano was battling cancer. And when Arians took over, you saw Andrew Luck go from like 200 yards a game to 350, 4 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns. And then it's just like, whoa, this is the same team. What's different? When you actually watch, Bruce Arians pushes the ball down the field. You know what I'm saying? Like he needs a big arm quarterback that can make the throws, and he can teach the rest because he's a quarterback guru. You know, so I think that I would like to see Jameis stay because I think Jameis has the talent. And like I always say, you need that quarterback head coach combo to really uncork, you know, the best potential out of a quarterback. And I think that Bruce Arians can be that for Jameis. And I think that if Jameis goes to any other situation, He's going to be mediocre. I think he's going to be a fringe starter. I think he's probably going to be a career backup if he loses this opportunity to be the franchise QB for the Tampa Bay Bucks. So I think it's big. He's really coaching for his life. I mean, playing for his life.
Yeah, I would agree. I still think that this is more about him showcasing for other places and not Tampa. Because I think that even though I think it's a little too late, basically is what I'm saying. And
Why do you think he would?
I don't think it's
do you
too
think
late.
that's that he's doing that? Like that's his mindset, his focus?
I think, yeah, because I don't think he's just thinking about playing for Tampa anymore. I think he's thinking about playing in the league as a starter. You know what I mean?
But-
So
but-
now I think I think at this point, because what you guys are talking about, he can't really control. Because remember, you said at the end of the day, it's either Bruce Arians wants you or he don't. You know what I mean? So like,
But-
and even you said if the way he has to average out the rest of the season is damn near something that isn't related to how he is as a QB. So at this point, I just want to show that I can still play as a starter in the league. At least that's something I can control.
You know, this is the first time he's thrown over 20 interceptions in a season. The highest he's gotten is 18. Before that, 15, 11, and 14.
Yeah, which is average.
Yeah, so this, and when I looked
15,
at
11,
that,
and 14 as far as like, what are those?
Interceptions.
Is it gotten worse over the time or is this gotten it was all
so
over?
2000, I'm gonna start from 2015. So obviously he was a rookie. 15 that year, 22 and 15. 2016, 18. So 28 and 18. 2017, 19 and 11. 2018, 19 and 14, and then this year, 30 and 24.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Like you know who that sounds like a lot of? Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford was a very high turnover prone quarterback, and he didn't start getting that under control until who, Ken?
Caldwell?
Yep.
Yep.
Until Jim Caldwell. So I think that relationship between head coach and quarterback is huge, and I think that to a certain degree, of course, you want to put your best game on tape. Because regardless I just don't think that Jameis Winston's mentality is let me showcase my talent for all these other teams. I think that he realizes the advantage of having Bruce Arians. Because think about he's never thrown more touchdowns than he has this year, has he, Ken?
Probably not.
You said the highest one was 20?
Yeah, at the 28, I think was the highest
28?
he's thrown, and that was his second year as a quarterback. That's when they brought in Dirk Cutter.
That's when they brought in Dirk Cutter, another offensive guy, but then obviously he fell flat on his face the second year with Dirk Cutter. He went to 19, right?
Yeah,
So he lost 9 touchdowns year to year with the same guy. That's not going to happen under Bruce
Well,
Arians.
I'm saying it like this. Do you think that Teddy Bridgewater and Jameis are in the same situation?
No.
nah.
What's the difference?
The difference is Bridgewater has a guaranteed starter spot next year with one of the available quarterback positions.
Yeah, and
And you
also
don't think Jameis, based on how shitty quarterbacks have been looking lately, outside of obviously the ones that are going to the playoffs, you don't think he can get a job as a starter?
He's still more questionable because people are still going to bring up his past and off the field stuff, even though this year has been very quiet and under
Last
wraps.
couple of years.
Last
Yeah,
couple of
you know.
years. But that's still something that they're going to use in their negotiation tactics.
Yeah.
Where Teddy, ever since college, ever since high school, you've never heard anything off the field about him. So that's the reason why I think he's going to have an easy way into a starting gig. Carolina, Chicago, other teams that may be looking for quarterbacks. This, even the Jaguars. I think
Well,
they
I
may
was
move on.
asking not more of about I'm talking about like staying with that team, focused on staying with that team.
Of course,
Do you think-
Bridgewater is not focused
He's not
on
fo-
no,
Okay.
he wants to
Yeah,
start.
he wants
He
to
wants,
starter.
he wants to be a starter, but he knows he can't do that in New Orleans.
Of course.
And
That's Drew Brees. He's
and
going
I-
to be there the next 2-3 years.
But people were talking about, and I even brought up the question a few episodes ago as far as like, can they move on with Breeze and just slide in Bridgewater if the season doesn't go the way they expect it to be, which is probably going to be that way.
Yeah, personally, I wouldn't for 2 reasons. Number one, Drew Brees still plays at a high level. Obviously, the arm isn't what it was, but
What about the Belichick rule then? 1 year too early, then a year too late.
But-
Because
but-
when Breeze's arm goes down, it's going to be Peyton Manning.
no, 100%.
You know it's going to be like
100%. But I think the difference is, especially just the vibe that I get off of Sean Payton, I think he would rather pick the successor versus just sticking to Teddy Bridgewater. Because I think Bridgewater, I don't think he's a franchise quarterback to me. I think he's more of a stopgap quarterback.
Then why did they pay him to be the highest paid backup?
because he
in
was the
league?
best
Exactly.
backup quarterback out there.
Exactly. He's a stopgap. I don't think that he is your perennial franchise Pro Bowl type quarterback, right? MVP caliber type quarterback. But I think you put him in the right situation like the Bears or even Denver, right? Like, even though Denver's defense isn't there, but Chicago's defense. You put a Teddy Bridgewater there, he's going to have tremendous success. But I don't think Bridgewater can go anywhere and have that success. And I think the second point that I'm trying to make also is I think Sean Payton would like to pick Drew Brees' successor. Like, oh, that's my guy. We're going to groom him.
But wouldn't you say the same thing about Kyle Shanahan? I'm just saying, like, we have these assumptions about certain coaches, or like coaches in general. We want our own guy. But like we just talked about the 49ers and their success. Kyle Shanahan drafted Jimmy G.
Yeah, but
and Jimmy G's a lot seasoned, almost as seasoned as Jameis Winston would be, or like a Teddy Bridgewater would be.
But where did he come from? And coach, he came from the Patriots, and Coach Belichick was ready to move on from Brady, bro, for this guy.
Yeah.
So that says a lot in itself right there. And just like I was saying, like Belichick knew I need to get my guy. And he drafted 2 quarterbacks, Jacoby and this guy, because he knew that it was almost time for Tom. I think Sean Payton's going to be in the same way. I think you let Teddy Bridgewater walk. I don't know if it's going to be in this draft or another draft, but I think that he's going to handpick who he wants to success.
And we got to be careful, man. We got to make sure that Bridgewater isn't Nick Foles. And that he looks good in the games that he's played, but
I can't say that
Sam
about
Bradford.
Well, I wouldn't say that about Teddy, because he's proven that. The only thing I would say is that he needs a lot of pieces around him. But
nah, he's injury prone. He injury prone.
Yeah, we can't.
He hasn't been hurt since he came back.
That he almost lost his leg.
He ain't been hurt. Sean Livingston almost lost his leg too, and then when he came back, same reason.
And Sam Livingston wasn't the same, bro.
He got 2 titles.
As doing what?
Yeah, 6 man.
He was a key piece in their title runs.
Okay,
but he was still a backup.
He wasn't the franchise.
Nah, but I think so. What I mean by that is not to get too caught up in the success that he's had in the situation.
But I'm saying he's had success elsewhere as well before he even got there.
But that was pre-injury.
Pre-injury, and also like
so did Nick Foles.
What was it? Was it at a level of like Lamar Jackson? Was it at a level of Russell Wilson? Was it at a level where you saw it and you're like, whoa, I'm convinced this is the guy?
He was progressing because he's still he's still in his
4th or 5th year.
Yeah, he's still a very young QB. You know what I'm saying?
But they got to the playoffs. He wasn't able to take them to the top, right?
That kick, he put him in position to win. The kicker fucked up.
Let me ask you something. What about Teddy Bridgewater jumps off the screen for you when you watch him?
The only thing I would say is poise.
And as much as you need that to be successful, there's a lot of other intangibles that you need more than that to be successful.
But he's not mediocre or below average and all the other though.
I think he's mediocre.
So are you talking about?
I would disagree with you on that.
I think right now.
Yeah, he's like.
How is he right now a mediocre QB?
Even if he
was
a starter,
clearly have stated he can start for a team that's a Super Bowl contender.
Because there's a lot of mediocre QBs starting for a team.
Exactly. Let me ask you this. Do you think that you can name 15 quarterbacks better than Teddy Bridgewater today right now?
I cannot.
Why are we starting this all over again?
I cannot name 15 quarterbacks better than Teddy Bridgewater.
Pull up the list. I just got to pull up the list, bro.
Because
I know we extremely pro brother, but we also try to be fair.
You can't 15 quarterbacks better than.
Yes.
And
because I got Dak as top 10. So we obviously we're gonna get to Dak.
All right. So is Tom Brady still better than Teddy Bridgewater?
No. I'd rather have Teddy Bridgewater than Tom Brady right now. Dead ass.
So the conversation's over already.
You going off of past. I'm talking about right now.
I'm going right now.
Tom Brady right now.
You'd rather have Teddy Bridgewater over Tom Brady?
Are you serious?
Are you serious?
I'm dead ass.
I might be with Nick.
Oh, y'all tripping. But I know you be hating.
A 46-year-old, what is he? 42-year-old QB who can barely throw. He can't even.
I'll take him today over Teddy Bridgewater. You mean to tell me? Come on, man. All right, fine. I'll give you. I'm not even giving you Tom Brady. Drew Brees. Because if he was better than Drew Brees, he'd start. And so you can't tell me. All right,
Drew Brees. I'll give you
Aaron Rodgers.
Obviously, I'll go with Aaron Rodgers.
A healthy Ben Roethlisberger. He's not better than a healthy Ben Roethlisberger.
Give me Big Ben.
Russell Wilson.
All right, give me Russ.
Matt Ryan.
Give me Matt Ryan.
Patty Mahomes.
Give me Patty.
A healthy Cam. He hasn't been healthy, but we know what healthy Cam is.
I'd rather take Teddy Bridgewater than Cam right
tripping.
Now. You tripping. How you going to say a healthy Cam?
Now the conversation's over.
How you going a healthy Cam. When was the last time Cam ain't getting healthy no more? Cam is who he is right now.
But that wasn't a question.
You saying what prime Cam? We can't.
No,
bring up Prime.
I didn't say
We're
prime.
talking about right now, Cam.
Healthy.
Healthy.
I'll take Bridgewater over Cam Newton right
Okay,
now.
you tripping.
You only got 6.
Kirk Cousins.
I'll take Bridgewater over Kirk.
It's 50-50 to me.
I'll take Bridgewater.
I'll take Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I'm leaning.
You ain't
Kirk
pro
Cousins.
brother there, kid.
I'm leaning
You
towards
take
Kirk,
Tony Romo 2.0.
but he put up numbers.
Yeah, man.
So does Teddy.
Not like that.
And I hate Kirk Cousins because of what they did. Because they used him
And
against Archie
and Kirk
Reed.
Cousins got way more weapons than Teddy.
Okay, Matthew Stafford. Mm-hmm. Yep, give me Matt. Go ahead. Don't even think about it. Don't even act like you're
Honest-
thinking about it.
I'm not that big on Matt Stafford.
Me neither. Trust me, I'm not.
And we talk about how he pads his stats at it because they be out of
What
games.
school he
anytime.
went to? UGA. You know I ain't big on him, bruh. But Matthew Stafford is better than Teddy Bridgewater. Deshaun Watson.
I'll take Deshaun.
Okay. Derek Carr.
I'll take Bridgewater. Why are you bringing up these horrible QBs for the
Below.
most? Yes, Derek Carr ain't no good QB.
Derek Carr is better than Teddy though.
How?
What do you mean how? Man, come on, man. Look at the season that he's having, bro. Jared Goff.
I'll take Goff.
So
You barely got a 10. I think you got 10. That's it.
Jameis.
I'm taking Bridgewater.
Oh, you tripping?
Nick.
I'm letting you know that I this is how this is. You telling me that if again Teddy, even though New Orleans always throws up points, it's only Michael Thomas. If he had all those other weapons,
Carson Wentz.
I'll take Carson.
All right.
So okay. So let's just talk. Let's count how many he said he'll take. Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, Ben, Russell, Matt Ryan, Patty Mahomes, Jared Goff, Matt Stafford, Deshaun Watson, Carson Wentz.
That's 10. He's top 15. We only got 5 more. Dak is on that list too.
Listen, man, this show has always been very supportive of Teddy Bridgewater way back when he was playing in college. I've been going back to some of the old
I feel like
Jimmy G.
most of the QBs that y'all mentioned,
What about Jimmy G?
most of the QBs that y'all
Because
mentioned,
I didn't even go through the whole list.
I
And
know
I
you
already
don't.
had 10. Come on,
and
bro.
I'd rather
This is-
take
and
Bridgewater over Jimmy.
Teddy Bridgewater's first 2 years when he was a starter, 14 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. 14 touchdowns in 2015. The first one was 2014, and 9 interceptions. Based on what y'all been telling me, that sounds like Jameis Winston.
And then what about the rest of his years?
He been hurt. He got hurt the next year.
To me, he's progressed. The touchdowns are coming down. He's progressing as a QB. Look at what he's doing in New Orleans.
These are
but
full
that-
seasons,
but
and only 3,200 yards passing his second year, and he didn't even top 3,000 his
And
first
all
year.
right, so then you talk about those stats. What about his wins? What was his teams looking like? What were those records? Because we always talk about we could throw up these stats and do all this other shit, but if they don't translate to wins, that's why Matt Ryan, you don't fuck with him.
No. But the context is this, right? Like we see Russell Wilson game in, game out, make plays, even though the numbers might be 160 yards passing with 1 touchdown, right?
That's what we seen out of Jimmy G. 160, 200, 1 touchdown.
We saw it earlier when he was getting acclimated back.
I'm saying even this season, a lot of his games are more like mediocre
So
numbers. They ain't that
his
great.
career as a starter, his career is 22-12. Keep in mind, I think, he got some of those this year, but 22-12 overall. So his first 3 years in Minnesota, he was 17-11, and he's 5-1 in New Orleans over the last 2 years. His first year as a rookie, he was 6-6, and his second year, that's when they went to the playoffs. They were 11-5.
So he's a well above over 500 QB.
Yeah,
he's an above average
but,
QB.
But at 14 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, and 3,200.
That was all
yards,
AP. that was AP.
So
bro.
then what is Jimmy G? Because we named a lot of other players before we get to
I
Jimmy
think
G.
we
We'll
just
talk
said
about.
I put
didn't
you
we
like
say he
this.
was above average though.
Yeah. So with Jimmy,
So is Teddy.
But here's the thing with Jimmy G's arm is better than Teddy Bridgewater, bro.
I won't deny that, but as a complete QB, I trust Teddy more. From what I've been seeing, I'm high on Teddy. Obviously,
and you've been high on people and been wronged in a month
Yeah.
too.
Hey, Dak is
So-
top 10. I don't know what y'all
I
trying to
don't know,
say.
man.
You can look at the check the stats.
You
Yo,
had
you
a very, very bad year.
what you mean?
Your
Don't-
predictions?
The only predict what name me the we gonna have. All right, we get close to the end of the year. We gonna,
we
we gonna
are.
have an episode on that. We gonna have an episode on that. Hey, Ken, question for you: why can't the Chiefs win the AFC?
Baltimore.
That's the only reason why you got you.
Mm?
Even though they beat Baltimore earlier this year,
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna lose another game.
you think Baltimore does not lose another game for this regular season and going
Super
into the
Bowl.
playoffs?
They're gonna win the Super Bowl.
I disagree with that.
How do you see? This is why you be wrong. How is Baltimore gonna lose?
They got Pittsburgh. They're gonna
stu-
beat Pittsburgh.
Have you not been noticing the vulnerability that they've been showing so far? People have. There's a lot of game tape on them now. They've been winning 9 straight, 10 straight.
You gotta have personnel to execute what San Fran was able to do. And how many teams have a defense like that?
And the Bills.
And the Bills.
And I'm saying this: the teams will get tougher in the playoffs, do they not?
I understand.
And
Okay.
also, they're playing. They're in the AFC where the Bills they'll see again.
Okay,
they gonna see New England again.
But here's the problem with the Bills. The Bills can't put up better than 25.
the Bills
that's the
don't.
problem.
The Bills don't need to. That's not what they're good at.
They
No, I
will. They
understand
will
that.
need to.
They will need to against
Yeah.
Baltimore, even though that Bills defense. And I'm the first one on this on this show to talk about the damn Buffalo Bills and how real they were. Right.
Yeah.
So that defense definitely can compete, but they're not going to be able to stop. And with that being said, Baltimore's still going to put up 20 to 25 points up on that defense. That offense, the Bills' offense, is
Yes.
going to have to put up 23 plus.
Yeah, that's
to
the problem.
And they're not going to be able to
They
do it.
barely got 17 against Pittsburgh.
They just don't have the offense.
They had 17 against Baltimore last week when they lost.
Okay.
Is
Is
Right.
it
and
the
they only,
23 that
but
I said?
only because Baltimore. To me, this is what it is. Baltimore, if they have a lead, they're going to win the game. If they even have a 7-point lead, they're most likely going to win the game because they're going to run you to death. If they do not have whoever scores first, that's all that matters because that's how the Chiefs got them. They kept scoring and they couldn't. And Lamar isn't at the place right now as a QB, especially that style when running. You're gonna have to
But
throw
they
the
came
ball.
back in that game though. They made
They
it
came
close
back,
at the
but
end.
it was they had a big deficit to come back from. I'm just saying, if the Baltimore if they have to come from behind, if they're playing from behind, that I don't know how Lamar Jackson will respond.
But it depends on who the competitor is. If it's Buffalo, yes, because Buffalo won't be able to answer back.
And that's what I'm saying.
But if it's Kansas City, then that's a problem.
That's what I'm saying.
'Cause
I'm
Kansas
not-
will go put a 50 on.
Because
you.
what I said had nothing to do about Buffalo. It was more about if the Ravens are behind, because we know Patty Mahomes, we just saw him thrown in the snow, so he can play outside now, which is something that a lot of people, iffy on that. He could play outside, and he could throw that ball, and he could still be accurate and on target with everything. If he does that in the playoffs, that's the only reason. That's the
Well-
only thing that I can see. They were a damn near a Super Bowl team last year.
What was
right?
your question again?
Why can't the Chiefs win the AFC?
AFC overall mean going to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
the Ravens.
Yeah, man. The Ravens, bro.
That would be
Kansas City don't have a defense.
exactly the only
They never
thing,
did, and they almost got to the Super Bowl last year.
But they have more weapons too last year.
And
They got about the same amount of
and
weapons.
Patrick Mahomes is hurt, and he's taking a step down, bro.
He's taking a couple of matter
Again,
points
I don't
off.
think I think he's taking a step down as far as those gaudy numbers he was throwing last year. Yes, because we all expected the
I'm
regression.
blaming the injury more.
Yeah,
than-
yeah.
But I think the
than
injury has helped him become a better QB because he's had to be more meticulous. And you're seeing that in games now. Like he's breaking the game down to where like you don't know how he's going to hit you.
we get that, but you want to be at 100% because he does have legs that can hurt you.
He's still running.
But they don't feel the same.
Yeah, because I mean,
They
it
don't
looked a
feel
little
the same.
ugly, but I mean, he ain't obviously he ain't Lamar Jackson.
But we know that, right?
But he ain't even Patrick Mahomes.
Exactly.
You don't
and
think
that's
so?
the problem. No, not from the
Not after
legs
this
perspective.
At this
Dislocated
point,
that
who,
knee,
but at
man.
this point of the season, who is 100%?
He was
Patrick
last year.
Thank you.
He was last year at this time. So look, Nick, all we're trying to say
And
is,
I'm saying he's that great that he could still take this team to the Super Bowl.
and I'm not saying that he's not. All I'm saying is that in the AFC there's two Titans right now, and that is Baltimore and that is Kansas City. And when you break down what's the difference, because they both have dynamic quarterbacks. They both get it done through their air and with their legs, one a little bit more so than the other, right? But at the end of the day, when we look at the teams and how they're constructed, the difference is that defense. And I'm not saying that defense could shut down Kansas City, but I think that defense can get key stops when needed. When needed. We ain't got to stop you or slow you down the entire game. It's fourth quarter with 4 minutes to go and you're on the 3rd and 12. We need to stop. Doesn't matter if we're up or down. We need to stop. Baltimore can give you that stop.
I think that if Baltimore does not have to face Kansas City, they'll get to the Super Bowl. I think if they face Kansas City, it will be a problem.
I think it doesn't matter. At this point in the season, it does not matter because at the end of the day, you're going to have to beat, if not the best out of the AFC, you're going to have to beat the best out of the NFC. So they're going to get tested regardless.
Yeah,
and there's a couple of
things. Bro, I'm only focused on the AFC. I know.
I know.
I think if they get to the Super Bowl, they're going to beat whoever's on the other side.
I think that Kansas City's defense can't get the stop that they need when they're going to need it. And I think that's what's going to hold them back if they don't make it. Because I'm saying Kansas City can beat Baltimore. I'm not saying it's no chance. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I think Baltimore is the favorite because that defense can get a timely stop when needed, and that's going to be the difference. I don't think it's scoring 30 or scoring 17. It's going
to be playoff football.
It's going to be playoff football. It's going to come down to 1 or 2 plays in the game. And I think that Baltimore defense is more ready to make those plays than Kansas City is.
All right.
But KC is a threat, though.
No,
KC
100%.
I think they're the only big. I think they're
I'm 100% in agreement with that.
They're the two favorites I have, but I'm on Baltimore. Again, I'm gonna say it again this week. I may have cursed them, and I'm sorry, but they're on another level right now. They've slowed down. I mean, they've beaten playoff teams.
They've beaten everybody they needed to beat.
Yeah,
and I want to be on that wagon with you, but right now I'm just like there's a lot of game tapes.
I gotta see because they get the Browns next. They get Pittsburgh in the last game of the season.
Yeah.
They should easily go 14-2. I know it's any given Sunday, so you never know what's gonna happen. But
so they've already locked up the number 1 seed, right?
They've locked up They locked up the division.
So they locked up the division.
Yeah. The seeding is still up.
To me, halfway through that Pittsburgh. No. They play the Browns next, and then they play Pittsburgh at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Halfway through that Pittsburgh game, RG3 might play, bro.
He played a little bit.
Yeah, he did.
This game.
No,
right?
but I'm talking about like
half
midway through second quarter.
Yeah, the Chiefs only beat them by 5 points the first time they played.
Yeah, because they came back a lot.
And then but to your question about whether or not they can come back from a deficit, I mean, they get within 5. It's showing that they can, and then the Browns beat their ass.
Yeah. Because the Browns, I think they were up in that game. I'm just saying that's the weakness, and I'm like, if as a QB or as a team, one of your hardest things to do is to come back from being down, you're going to be in that situation again.
Because actually, they dominated the second half. So I'm looking at it. Ravens were up 6-0. For whatever reason, Harbaugh went for a 2-point conversion. The Chiefs exploded for 23 points. So it was 23-6 at halftime, and then after that, the
Chiefs scored
10 in the second half.
And that's what I'm talking about right there is the fact that you can score 23 in the first half. That second half, you're not scoring 23 again.
Yeah, and the Ravens put up 22.
Speaking of teams that's put up a lot of points in both halves, the Cowboys, they got a big win over the Rams. They're 7-7, as we talked about earlier. Can we expect more performances like that?
Are we impressed by this win?
I am.
Why?
Because of the fact of the urgency of it. They needed to win that game. Philly just barely got out of Washington too, but they beat the Skins, and they're right now both teams are going back and forth as far as who's going to take this division.
But that's impressive to you.
I like to see what you can do when your back is against the wall.
It's been up against the wall all season.
Exactly.
They lost 3 straight.
You know what I like to see?
But this is the ultimate. This is where they had to prove it the most.
I like to see when expectations are up against you, and are you meeting that expectation or not? And this Dallas team has not.
Did we expect them to lose this game?
I expected Dallas to be an 11-win team. That's what I expected.
Okay, so you're still going off of what you expected early on in the season.
100%.
So let me ask you this: you would pick them to win the division, right?
Yeah.
So if they win the division, you'll be right?
But context.
But the end of the day, as long as you win the division, that's what we said it matters.
No.
We didn't say, but with context in the beginning of the season.
No, because I expected Dallas to be a dominant team. I expected Dallas to be a top.
Did they not dominate on Sunday?
That's one game. I'm talking about the damn season,
They
bro.
did the same thing when they had to face the Eagles at home. Come on, they've. I'm not trying to say Dallas has been the most consistent team, most dominant team. I'm saying when their backs were against the wall, the games they needed to win because they ain't got no other choice. If you don't win this, it's done. They won.
But that's not impressive.
Wait, hold on. How many games have they needed to win this year?
So far, I can only remember two.
I can tell you 6 of them. Because I think they lost 6 games against playoff. This was their first win against a playoff.
Those
team.
are teams you wanted them to beat to prove legit to your standards, right?
What do you mean to Ken's standards? To the standard of being to be heralded as a Super Bowl contender. What do you mean? Because look, this roster isn't a fringe roster. Like, okay, we got some pieces, and we may or may not like our coaching staff, and let's see if we exceed our expectation. The expectation from the beginning of the season, why they paid Zeke, is to win a Super Bowl.
Let me ask you this question, and Pat, since we're coming on to the end of the decade, in this decade, 2010 to 2019, has a wild card team as a playoff team won the Super Bowl? And has it happened multiple times?
When did Aaron Rodgers do it?
That was 2010.
Yes,
it's happened at least twice in this decade.
And here's what
you start off the show with any given Sunday. Mm-hmm. That goes for the playoffs too.
But what happens
as long as you get in? That's all that matters.
Here's what I'll say to that though, and it kind of goes back to what FIFA was saying. This roster, this team, is good enough to get in as a wild card to go to the Super Bowl.
And that's why.
But he expected 11 wins. They played below the talentless roster and expectations from a lot of people in terms of the regular season. Now they win the Super Bowl. All this other shit don't even matter.
That's why I said your standards. I was talking about him specifically, but also to other people's
standards. What about Jerry Jones standards? What about Dak's standards? What about Zeke standards? Because that's all they've been talking about. This ain't me talking.
Dak's done a lot. He's a top 10 QB statistically.
But what they've been talking about hasn't met their standards or their expectations. Forget what I'm saying. You asked. Let's talk about what they're saying.
You asked me the question: what games did they need? How many games do you think they needed to win so far this season? I said I only can call 2, which was this past Sunday against the Rams, and when the time they faced the Eagles early on this season, because those were 2 big wins. That's not what
Jerry Jones wants.
Of course, Jerry Jones wants the Super Bowl. So, like you said,
Jerry Jones don't want to have 7 losses.
No, Jones doesn't like losing. No one does. No one likes losing. But if you want to talk about context and nuance. If you lose now but win later, then you don't worry about what happened in the past.
But here's the thing, though, right?
They can still lose the division.
100%.
And that's the problem.
But they're still fighting for it right now, too.
The problem is that the losses that they have accumulated this season has put them in a critical situation to where everything you're saying can go out the window if they go out and wet the bed the next 2 games.
So hold on. The thing with Dallas is this, right?
I don't even like the Cowboys.
What have we seen? Because
I don't either. I don't know why.
Because I know you're going to talk about Aaron Rodgers in 2010, right, when he took a wild card team. Do you know that I want to say they finished that season like 4-0, 5-0 going into the playoffs? Mm-hmm. Like they were on a major streak, and Aaron Rodgers just could not be stopped. And we've seen Aaron Rodgers go on those type of runs where it don't matter. It don't matter if he ain't got no run game. It don't matter if he ain't got no defense. It don't matter if all the receivers are dropping the ball. Aaron Rodgers is going to get it done. And we've seen that. And there's not many players to ever play the NFL to be able to command that type of just that type of respect, right? Like we just I think there's maybe like one person, maybe 2 people in the league that can do that now, including Aaron Rodgers, right? Dallas doesn't have a guy like that because for Dak being top 10, he still don't scare nobody. He still don't scare nobody. Mm-hmm. What has Dallas has not been on a streak. Now this could maybe start something, right? They scored 44 points.
They start off the season on a streak.
But for them to win a Super Bowl, they have to get on a roll starting now. The playoffs start now for them.
So then you're saying this week when they won and moving forward, they got to get. This is where the streak could start or needs to start.
There's no more room for error.
Exactly, and that's why when you asked me what I was impressed with about this Sunday, this performance, there was no room for error, and they put up 40. They scored 28 in the first half.
The Rams ain't that damn good.
Come on, they were 8-5. We all used to say you said it was a toss up.
I know.
He
Yeah,
was a
because
toss-up.
both of these teams are average at best. We have at least I have documented on this team that about McVay and about Goff and about this Rams team overall. And just because they went on a little winning streak and got to 8-5 to give them their first win against, a team with a winning record, I'm still tossing that out the window because I don't think this Ram team is that good. But it still counts. They're 1-what against a winning team. This is the first one. But they still lost to the 0 and whatever Jets. They still, lost to the Bears, who was 7-7. They lost to the Bills. They couldn't even beat the Patriots, and they suck. And you're going to be impressed if they beat the Eagles, who don't have a receiving core at all. They got guys on the practice squad. And the Redskins.
It's not about what they got. It's about what we need to do. And if we want to be in a position to compete for a Super Bowl, these the boys you got to get through first, regardless of what they look like. Because for one, that's a division game. So
what
we
they
don't
look like
poo-poo.
matters.
We don't poo on that. It's a division game.
What they look like
throw,
matters.
We throw record. We always say we throw record. That's why I don't understand how y'all saying this now. We throw record books, all that other shit out the window when it's a division game, especially when it means that much for a division title, because that means a playoff berth.
Mm-hmm.
So why are we not impressed? Why is this not impressed?
We're not impressed because that Dallas team should be winning against other teams that are going to be playing in these playoffs. So it doesn't matter if they make it, right? Like, it's not about just making it. It's about winning. And if they have not beat a playoff team outside of this one, potentially, because they may not even make the playoffs. So that's why it's not impressive.
Yeah, the Rams ain't making the playoffs.
Well, that's why I was asking.
They're done.
Yeah, you only gonna have 2 out of that division. But that's why I'm saying this. The streak can start now. If the streak starts now, and I think it will start now.
But even if they win out, it's not impressive because they're going to go into that wild card and they're going to lose in the first round. That's why it's not impressive.
It depends on who they face first round.
It doesn't matter who they face.
It will.
Who they going to beat?
They'll be a 4th seed.
Who they going to
And
beat?
they'll play the 5th seed.
And who's that right now?
That could be the 49ers.
And they're going to beat the 49ers?
Or it could be Seattle. They beat Seattle last year.
They're not going to beat neither one of those teams this year.
They could.
They could. Like we said, any
They're
given Sunday.
supposed to. No, they're
Okay,
supposed to.
yeah, that's
They're
it. They're supposed to. Right.
They're supposed to. And that's why this win is not impressive. That's why this season is not impressive. Because the 44, they should be a top 3 scoring team. With that O-line, with that quarterback, with that running back, with that wide receiver. That's why this is not impressive. This is what you're supposed to do. I'm expecting you to score 30-plus points against a team like this. That's not impressive when you're supposed to do something.
They went 3-7 after starting 3-0. 3-7. That's the Dallas Cowboys team.
Man, look, man. This team.
It's disappointing, man.
What's the record? 7-7?
7-7.
These boys should be 10-3, bro. And I'm not saying go undefeated against the playoff teams that you played, but at least 500. At least 500 because of any given Sunday. We get that.
And the Eagles coming in with practice squad wide receivers and the Redskins and with the rookie. Of course they should win those games. That's easy. They're supposed to.
Dallas is the biggest disappointment of the NFL season.
I would disagree because the Browns. We talked about the Browns,
but they were the paper champs.
They
were the paper champs.
They were just as hyped as Dallas coming in the season.
You know what?
If not more.
I'll put it to you like this. And you know what? Colin said this a couple of weeks ago. And when he broke this down, I said, damn, man, this man is right. This man is right. In the world, not just America, right? There's a stigma, and trust me, because I'm sure I know, that taller, good-looking people get jobs. They get jobs. They get picked for dates. They live a different life, right? And all this is Dallas is the tall, attractive person in the room, and the Browns are the short, ugly person that chills in the corner. That's all it is. Because you're talking about 2 quarterbacks, right, coming off of impressive years the previous year, right? We're talking about uber talented. We're talking about both teams have a top 10 roster in the NFL on both sides of the field. Mm-hmm. We're talking about 2 questionable coaching staffs and 2 questionable ownerships. These guys are literally mirror images of each other. But everybody speaks highly on Dallas and everybody shits on the Browns. Why? Because the Browns are not America's team. Because the Browns don't have an owner that parades around and says, hey, we're the Browns. Look at us, look at us, look at us, look at us. This is the Browns world. No, Dallas does that. And that's the reason why we hold Dallas in higher regard. But they're the same exact team.
I see where that narrative comes from, but at the same time, the fact still remains Dak Prescott is not Baker Mayfield. Dak Prescott has won more game, is the second most winningest QB outside of Tom Brady.
Do you also know that Dak Prescott only has one more win than Baker Mayfield this season?
I did not know that.
Yep. Humble yourself.
So
humble yourself.
Nonetheless, you picking Dak Prescott over Baker Mayfield, nonetheless, right? And Dak Prescott has proven that he is he's more of a difference maker than Baker is.
But what I'm saying is, when you compare both organizations and franchises this year, they're the same fucking team. From the top down, they're the same team.
But the situations are different, though, because one still can win their division and one can't.
We understand that, but the reason why they can't win the division is because the best team in football is in that division. So we know that. But at the end of the day, regardless if Dallas makes it or not, and even if the Browns made it, they're a first-round exit, bro. They're a first-round exit. That ship ain't steering the right way.
I think Dallas can make things interesting, and I don't know why I'm talking, because I'm a Giants fan, but obviously ain't shit to talk about the Giants.
I think if it wasn't for Dallas, I think the Browns would be the most disappointing team in football. But I think the Browns are somewhat.
I think they are the most disappointing. But
they're not.
Because you're used to it. Because you're used to their losing.
I think that's what it is. Oddly enough, they're doing what we probably expected them to do.
Down.
Yeah, this is par for the course for them with all that talent, because ownership, John Dorsey, the Browns are a mess, and that's the title of this episode. And there's been a report that came out, multiple people went out. We talked about OBJ last week. Mm-hmm. Now Jarvis Landry told the Arizona Cardinals to come get me. Apparently, it was rumored that OBJ said the same thing
because they see Kyler.
That is bad, man. And John Dorsey, I said in the chat, had one job. This is not on Baker. This is not on Freddie Kitchens. They play a role in it, but this starts at the top. He accumulated the talent, and he had one more position to fill, and he bungled it.
Big time.
And this goes back to the conversation we had before we recorded today. Remember, I was saying, like, we can't, when it comes to the relationship between men and women, sometimes you got some of the issues that you are facing is because of the choices that you made. There's certain partners that you select that you can't get mad about them putting you in all kinds of situations because you chose to do that. With John Dorsey, he chose to put Freddie Kitchen in there. He chose to draft Baker Mayfield. He chose to put this team together. So at the end of the day, we can say Baker Mayfield's the reason why the Browns ain't shit. Freddie Kitchen's the reason why the Browns ain't shit. But we all knew based on their resume, they wasn't ready for the position to be in there.
He did everything right except one thing, I feel, and that was the coach.
Yep.
I was
100%.
a proponent of giving the guy a chance. He's proven that he can't do the job. And unfortunately, that roster is about to go back to the way it was.
And again, I'm not trying to put more blame on Baker or Freddie Kitchens, but with Baker, especially last season, did you think that he could overcome some? Like, you think their record should have been a little bit better than what it is now with how Baker was playing last season?
I put it to you like this, and this is the reason why they're disappointing us, right? Because they had so much promise based off of what they did last year. This year, they got even better from a talent perspective. So obviously the level of expectation goes up. Obviously Baker has looked bad, but it hasn't been all Baker. Part of it is Baker, right? Like, Baker doesn't look as comfortable in the pocket. His feet are happy. His eyes and feet aren't aligned. But part of that is the coach putting the players in position to succeed. And that's where the relationship between front office and what you're getting on the field has severed, because Freddie Kitchens has proven from first week until now that he is ill-equipped to run a to be a head coach in the NFL. To just be honest, let me not skirt around it. He is ill-equipped to be a head coach in the NFL. And that was the Browns' biggest mistake. And now they're going to pay mightily because of that. Because when you have a talented team, because they think about last year's Rams. They had a lot of big names and big voices and big egos. Did it ever get out?
Nope.
For two reasons. Sean McVay, and number two, they were winning.
Mm-hmm.
You talking about Ndamukong Suh, you talking about Aaron Donald, you're talking about Aqib Talib, you're talking about Marcus Peters. These guys don't hold their tongue,
These are the
but we
loudest
didn't hear
voices-
nothing.
Some of the loudest voices in the NFL.
In the NFL. And we didn't hear nothing for two reasons. Sean McVay is the man in the room, and he put all of these guys in positions to succeed. And number two, they were winning. That's the issue with the Browns. If they had the man in the room in terms of a head coach, like Mike Tomlin, we didn't even realize how much stuff Mike Tomlin was dealing with until AB left the damn Steelers, right? Because he's the man in the room. And then you win because you're putting guys in position. And I can't say the head coach that they should have picked. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if they would have picked the right guy for the job, and I don't know who the right guy is, but if they would have picked the right guy, they would have been in the playoffs. No, they wouldn't have won the division because Baltimore too damn good. Even though they more time, this is year one of their new regime.
We don't know that. That's a big if.
That's a big if. But the Browns would have made the playoffs if they would have got the right head coach.
More Mike Silver on Twitter said more fallout from the Jarvis Landry tirade during the Browns-Cardinals game. Said he's told about two sources that before the game ended, multiple Browns players yelled at the Arizona sideline to come get me, asking to come play for the Cardinals. Landry, I'm told, was one of them. First of all, when you lose to the Cardinals, that's a Cardinal sin.
I knew he was gonna say something. Like
You know, you got his dad jokes. You got his dad jokes over his sleeve.
Nah, I mean, but again, like, are you surprised though? Like we're saying this in a tone that's like we're surprised, but
A little bit.
You know what
a
I'm
little
saying?
bit. No, because this is highly disrespectful.
because the Cardinals have gotten better over the season.
All I'm saying is this: outside of the Browns, what other team can you see this happening with?
It's happened to the Cowboys.
I'm gonna leave him and Jerry.
I'm just saying, you asked.
But
We're talking
okay,
about
fine.
the-
And
Out of those-
do
we
we
talking about
find
the
that
Browns right
surprising?
No, I don't find it surprising, dude. Look,
So they're par for the course too.
do you understand that like all of the coaching staff, the medical staff is either like former Cowboys? All of them. Head coach, O-line, defensive court, everybody that's part of the Cowboys used to be a Cowboy.
All I'm saying,
that's a problem.
All I'm saying is this: you know how certain movies are based on a true story, and you know that when they say based on a true story, there's a little bit that's real
Yeah.
true. So for me, for our predictions, when we said we created a movie as far as the Cowboys gonna win a division, they gonna be 11-5, whatever, whoever the fuck, they're gonna be really great, but they gonna win their division. That's what we said at the top of the year. The move, the based on a true story is that they might win the division at 9-7, 8-8.
But even beyond that, right?
Let's
Like,
stay on
yeah,
the
But
Browns.
but I'm saying we're still gonna be right, nonetheless.
but at the end of the day, did you just have them as division champs, or did you have them going further than that? Just based off of the roster, preseason,
A little bit further,
everybody had them a little bit further. So that's why I'm not impressed.
and with
And that's why like this win is whatever. But going back to the Browns, Ken, because Dallas is going to be a very sore spot for us to talk about. It has been all year. However, with the Browns, outside of Dallas, I don't see any other team where I can see this level of disrespect. Maybe the Dolphins early on, just because it looked like
but it was just like that franchise was
Oh,
crumbling.
shit. Hold on. I'm going to add on even more.
Okay.
God dang.
Go
Went to
ahead.
the
What-
Browns?
Yes. Jesus Christ. The Browns apparently plan to keep Freddie Kitchens as the coach.
Okay, these boy.
What source is that?
Rappaport.
What's the reason?
I guess they just don't want to make any drastic changes.
They got to.
I don't think they do. I think they need consistency.
I'll put it to you like this, Ken. What happens if and when, and y'all heard it here first, half of that offense holds out?
I don't think it'll get to that point. I don't think so.
I think it could. The players on this team, they thought they were going to win more than 6 games.
But that's
They are pissed.
They're pissed. And the losing is one thing, right? Because like let's say if you had the right coach and you're losing, but you know what he's saying is right. Just like the coach last year, right? Who's their
Grant
head coach?
Williams.
Right, and I said he's trying to set a culture. They're not winning; they went for it, but you feel you know what they're trying to do. You can't say that the same about Cleveland.
To me, it's not even Freddie Kitchens on the field. It's off the field in the locker room. Like he does not know how to manage or how to be that give
What do you
off
mean
that,
by that?
like being like that T-shirt that he wore.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like that's your head coach, or like the way he allowed like. We talked about it. We talked about
that
how
was
Mike
bad.
Tomlin gets criticized for locker room and being the man in the room and stuff like that. Freddie Kitchens should get that 10
Can
times
you
over.
imagine if Tomlin wore that shit, man?
You know what I'm saying? Like it's like
They fire him the next day.
exactly,
Bro.
and that's why we have coaches like the OC from Kansas City that we talk about. Like they're gonna re-up on Freddie Kitchens because you want consistency, but
I think it makes
consistency of
sense, though.
losing
I think to try to find another coach right now, I think quarterback, QB,
what's different?
quarterback coach combo. I think because, hey, look, Baker
big.
deserves some blame because it was reported that he wanted Kitchens too. So I think they just want to make sure that they try to be consistent this season and go as planned. But hey, let's just come back next year and see what happens.
Baker has already
Instead
gone
of
through
starting
three
over.
head. He's on his third head coach,
and that's why you don't
year
need to
two.
change. And that's why you don't need to change.
But I'm saying, but what's
Okay,
another
so,
one?
So I'll put it to you like this: it's big. I'm not a proponent at all of Freddie Kitchens. Y'all already.
neither am I.
And you know, I'm always one to kind of give a little leeway. And I said, let's see what Freddie can do. I'm no
I was
longer,
with you, yeah.
I'm no longer on that bandwagon. However, the only way you salvage this, the only way, you got to go get North Turner. You got to go get North Turner for the OC.
Nah, get somebody new. Get somebody new and young and fresh.
The reason why
I won't even go that way.
exactly. The reason why is because you need tried and true. Because Freddie Kitchens is brand new and fresh.
You know what
And-
North Turner is, though.
but
He's a good OC though.
Get
That's
Benamy. Get the guy from Kansas City.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't care about bringing in somebody else. You know, Freddie Kitchen is a less than head coach,
it's his
point
first
blank
year on
period.
the job, though.
but he shouldn't even had the job.
But he's learned a lot this year. But he does
In
he
the
shouldn't have
worst
had
way,
it,
yeah.
But John Dorsey hired him, and as an executive, he wants to try to validate this decision one way or the other. So I think he don't want to do anything.
But
you
at
can
the expense of what? Because you're literally creating a mutiny inside that locker room.
And
what you do is you get rid of the players that want out.
That doesn't make you're blaming now. You're trying to cure the symptoms and not the root of the problem. Like for me, it's just like if as a head coach, you have to know how to control everything, how to be damn near presidential in your position, and he's not that.
And we know he's
So why are we babying that?
But we also know is OTJ is on the job training. That's all.
But
he's
you can
doing.
learn a lot from a breakup. I sure have. You can learn a lot from. You don't have to stay with that person to be like, oh, I'm proving to you what I learned. No, you can learn that in your next relationship.
Okay, but
That's what happened to
And
Belichick.
And I think the difference between these obviously is our talent and expectations, right? But the Dolphins committed to Brian Flores, and they look terrible.
But
that was a season.
In different expectation, we knew going in this is a complete rebuild. Your Brian Flores's record for the first 2.5, maybe 3 years is going to be atrocious, and you know that you're
And
playing
then
the
they're
long
gonna
game
fire
with him. Possibly, we know how the game goes.
Yeah, I know how the
possibly,
game goes.
but at the end of the day, for the first 2 years, they've committed to this rebuild, and so did he. He signed up for it. Freddie Kitchens and the Browns' job was not a rebuild. It was, hey, we've been crappy for so long. We've done a great job in the draft. Take us to the playoffs. The
it was-
expectation was the playoff. Ken.
I think it was a rebuild. I think they tried to do it too fast.
The
I
expectation-
think they gave themselves tried to give themselves a shot of adrenaline, and that shit wore out.
Yeah.
Before the season started.
you know, and this is why the shot of adrenaline would have worked with the right head coach, because they didn't need OBJ. OBJ was the shot of adrenaline. They didn't
Yes.
need that. That
I
was
agree with that,
That was
yeah.
putting a lot.
And they
into the
sacrificed their offensive line to get OBJ too.
right? So my thing is this: if you had the right coach, and again, I don't want to put names out there, but if you had the right coach, this team would be better than 500, and they would be vying for a playoff.
So you
spot.
don't think they'll be better this year after everything that Freddie Kitchens has learned?
I
this
don't
year?
think so.
No, because I don't think he's
I
learned
don't
that
think so.
much.
Because here's the thing:
I disagree.
the players don't trust him, and
That's why I say get rid of those players that don't.
You
trust
learn how to
him.
be. I'm asking. You said you disagree. When I say he's learned that much. Can you learn how to be a head coach in 1 year?
He's learning.
I'm
yes.
saying
I think you can.
I disagree.
Yes, I think
you need
you
to
can.
you need to be groomed for multiple years to be a legit head coach to me. Like Sean McVay is different because he's young, but he was groomed since damn near birth.
I mean, we
look at Pete Carroll.
And we know that he was a offensive guru.
Yeah.
And also Pete Carroll coached in the NFL, went back to
Exactly.
college.
He was groomed. Like,
No,
that's what I
Freddie
mean.
Kitchens skipped a lot of steps, and he was walking down the stairs, and he skipped a couple of steps, and he stumbled along the way, and he grabbed that rail, and hopefully he's going to hold on
But
and
he's
stabilize himself.
But he's not holding on by his own merit. He's holding on because the GM doesn't want to admit his mistake.
Exactly. Let me ask you this, Ken.
So the GM called him.
Tell me 3 good things that Freddie Kitchens has done this year.
There isn't 3 things.
So then, see,
I'm not arguing for Freddie Kitchens as a coach. I'm arguing for the stability.
And I'm not talking. And I'm not trying to say you are.
no.
I'm just talking about because people are going to have to defend that decision. And you're trying to bring up those arguments, and I'm just trying to tell you how those arguments are irrelevant.
100%. Because think about Marvin Lewis, right? Marvin Lewis, even like when he started, the record wasn't that good, but you saw progression. You knew that locker room and the franchise had his back 100% because he was arguably the best coach since the Boomer Esiason days. You know what I'm saying? So they got better. They got progressively better and better and better and better. I don't believe that of Freddie Kitchens. I think you bring him back next year, you're just going to get more of the same. And if you get rid of the players that have an issue with it now, what are you going to be left with?
You have a shitty head coach and a shitty team.
Exactly, because you're not going to be able to redraft the same guys that you got originally.
Some of these guys is the ones you drafted.
Exactly.
Still, you talking about getting rid of them?
Well, they didn't draft Jarvis.
No, not
but
the
I'm
wide
saying,
receivers.
but outside of Jarvis,
But Chubb, Baker,
They'll still
the
have
majority of
Chubb.
that O-line, the majority, and Njoku, the majority of that defense. Myles Garrett. Like, no, you look. You know how long it took to just get that? Do you want to get to that point again?
I don't know. I'll give him 1 more year.
Nah, man.
I'll give him.
we're
one
just
more
giving
year.
out you.
Like me now.
But that's what I'm saying. Like when we started this year, we were saying we're gonna be more hard on head coaches, executives. And all
No,
that.
it was the executives more than the head
Well,
coaches.
I think I'm putting head coaches in that too because we give so much slack for head coaches. We don't do the same for players. With players is like we saying Gurley's a bust and he may not be able to be the same no more. We're saying that Jared Goff is a bust. He may not be the same no more. But when it comes to coaches, give it another year. Give it another year. Like we give this mediocrity for coaches in one of the most
This is a
important
unique
positions.
situation, though. And I think if this was
How is it unique if it's more the same?
because Freddie Kitchens has skipped every single step to get to a head coach, like he white privilege all the way, and he bypassed it, and here he is. He sits in he learned a lot of along the way. He made some bad decisions on the field, bad decisions off the field, and I think that at least give him 1 more year. I would have loved for Steve Keim to get another year.
But Ken, like when you're preaching stability, is because you can hold on at least 3 things that were positive for you to bring on to the next year and expound on those things. And the fact that you can't give me even 3 things that Freddie Kitchen did good, your reasoning for having consistency is out the window.
I think John Dorsey is just.
He don't want to admit his mistakes.
He don't want to admit the mistake.
Yeah,
I can't fault him for that one. I can't fault him for that.
Yeah, I mean that's we can understand it. That don't mean it's right.
Yeah.
All right. That's all I have for football. Y'all had anything else?
Not in football.
All right. We can go to NBA. There's a lot of trade talk. Because I think, especially with Iggy, I feel like Iggy's up there with Kevin Love as far as a very valuable piece for a contender. Or
100%. But here, so Woj keeps saying that the teams that Iggy wants to play for don't have the assets to trade for him.
So he has to be a trade.
Bought out.
He
has to be part of that buyout market. And the Grizzlies are steadfast in saying we're not buying nobody out.
Because how much he got on his contract left? Like 20 million?
Probably like 15 or so.
Okay.
Like between 12 and 15.
So it's not about the money, or is he they just don't want to feel like
they don't want to buy out.
Okay.
You know, so because think about it, when you buy somebody out, you're not getting nothing in return. You're just paying up a roster spot. You know, so the Grizzlies don't want to not get something in return, and I get it from their perspective. They're a young enough. Did you see?
Ja Morant.
No. Who's the big guy? I always get him and the one from Chicago confused. Jaren Jackson and
Jaren
Wendell
Jackson,
Carter.
Wendell Carter.
Yeah.
Jr.
They have Jaren Jackson, right?
They have Jaren Jackson. Memphis.
I want to say like it was a game or two ago. This man hit 9 threes.
Yeah.
He had 42 points.
He can play, man.
So
so you watching Memphis, huh?
Yeah, of course I'm watching. But I get it from their perspective. We're a young and up and coming team. Like for us to just buy somebody that's valuable out, even for their roster, right? Like he could be their version of Vince Carter, but Iggy's not in that business because he's already tasted the championships. I need to compete, right? So I get it. I get it from both perspectives, but I don't know if Memphis is going to buy him out. And if somebody trades for him, I don't know if it's going to be a legit contender because how much are you going to give up to get him, right? Like let's just put Miami out there. You giving up any of these young cats? I'm not.
Miami is balling.
Exactly, not for no Andre Iguodala, and there's no disrespect to Andre. He can help out all of these contenders.
But he close to the door.
He close to the door. I'm
was-
not giving nothing up.
He talked about retiring last year.
Exactly.
He was old last year.
Exactly, man. Look, Andre Iguodala wants a place where he could go compete, play year to year, and be in nice weather. Man.
I was going to say he wants the West Coast. That's where he want to go for the Clippers, the Lakers,
or the Miami. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure nobody's gonna feel bad for you if you want to retire Miami off of some NBA pension.
So Memphis not letting him go.
It's Memphis. Memphis doesn't want to buy him out.
I can see him.
They want to get traded.
I can see him in Portland though. Portland
I
needs
can
someone
see
like
that
that.
too.
But they traded for him, right?
Who? Yeah,
Memphis. I don't blame him.
exactly.
Yep,
I don't blame him. And I don't. Unless Iguodala says, "Yo, just give me $2 million to get him out of," I don't see him doing that. Exactly, I don't see him doing that.
he just at the house.
He's a smart guy.
Yeah,
huh?
he chilling.
Wow.
He
Just
chilling.
collecting the check.
Yep.
He in Memphis though, so that's probably a prison.
But he
He
don't
got
have to
some
be
good
in Memphis.
barbecue.
He don't got to be in Memphis. He can still be in Oakland.
Hey, let's show Dylan Brooks is playing well too. The guy to Oregon. I don't know if you remember him, but little light skinned guy. He's the 2 for Memphis. I think he had like 27 the other night.
I gotta see him.
Yeah, I got to
Yeah,
watch.
I don't
but
know
he's
about
playing well too. I didn't think he was going to get a shot. He would probably put you more in the amount of like maybe a Ben McLemore type that needed to have a good situation in order to be in the league.
Going off of trade talks, K Love to the Hawks. Does that make sense?
No,
Mm-mm.
no.
That's him.
Oh yeah.
the light skin
Yeah.
one.
Okay,
Yeah. K Love to the Hawks doesn't make sense for a couple of reasons. Too much money on the books. That's number one. And it's not even the money; it's the years. After this year, he still has 3 years and $90 million.
Can't do it.
The Hawks.
He's on still that much money?
Yes,
Because he signed after
this
the
year.
LB. Because he signed that. He re-upped after LeBron left.
No, he read up after they won the chip.
That's
So
still the same
'Cause
contract.
they
only
wanted
2 years
to
into it.
secure him because they probably had a feeling that LeBron was going to leave, so they
Yep.
wanted to commit to him.
Oh yeah, I remember it was like 125.
Yep.
Yeah, 5 years, 120 something.
goodness.
So here's the thing.
Shout out to his accountant.
When you look at where the Hawks are now, right? And I'm gonna go off on just a little bit to the left. Anthony Edwards is that motherfucker, boy. Ooh, look, man.
He's number 1 right now
Eh,
in mock drafts.
Oh, is he even over Wiseman? Well,
It switches, but yeah,
it
right
switches,
now, yeah.
right? Because even Golden State can get the number 1 pick this year, and I think I don't see them taking Anthony Edwards because
Oh wait, where are you going with this?
so let me- so it
Yeah.
depends. It depends on where teams are drafting and who's drafting, right? But when I'm looking at the Hawks, and we know they're going to be a top 5 pick this year again, right? I didn't anticipate it, but it is what it is. John Collins being out, a lot of different things hurt them, but it is what it is. But when I look at where they are and where they're going to be drafting, right? They're going to draft another high potential guy. And I think that they should take Anthony Edwards. And if they do, that means that Kevin Huerter and Cam Reddish and DeAndre Hunter, 2 or at least one of those guys is going to have to be moved on because you're not going to be able to pay everybody. John Collins is going to be up. We already know we paying Trey. Trey, how much you want? All right, boom. Just get that man a blank check. Let him fill out the zeros, right? You also going to pay Kevin Love? For what? Because he's not the guy that's going to put you over the top. So for the Hawks, I don't see it. And I want to say it was either Windhorst or Woj, where they were talking. I agreed. At this point in Kevin Love's career, he's not your second best player on a championship team. He's barely your third best player on a championship team, depending on who the other two guys are, right? So you're really looking at K Love being that third or fourth best guy on a championship level roster. It don't make no sense for the Hawks because he does not improve them. Now, Andre Drummond, I like Andre Drummond to the Hawks.
That's actually a better option.
That's a better option.
But I'm only bringing it up because Trey there's been talks about him being frustrated with the team.
Oh, 100%.
So he wants to see something happen sooner than later. You know what I'm saying? So you're talking about a draft pick for next year that will potentially blossom within the next 3 to 5 years after that. While he's in his 3 to 5 year window now, it's like, you know what I mean? Like those are all long term plans.
Trae Young should also be smarter to know that Kevin Love ain't the one.
100%.
He won a chip.
Hey, that don't mean nothing. That don't mean
He's also young enough to have watched those finals.
Exactly. So my thing is this with Trey. Trey is ahead of the curve. What do I always tell y'all? We can't realize what a guy really is until 3 to 5 years. We have outliers, Luka and Trey. They're both in year 2 fucking putting up ridiculous numbers, right? Trey is ahead of the curve. Trey, we know, is a bona fide superstar. Trey is going to get the max extension. We know John Collins is a great running mate. I believe DeAndre Hunter is going to be their starting 3 of the future, right? But with that being said, if you're going to pull off a move for a veteran, high-paid player, it has to be somebody that complements the vision of what you guys have going on. K-Love doesn't do that. If you look at everybody else outside of Trey and Huter, they're all athletic wings.
He'll
right?
slow them down.
He'll slow them down. He doesn't, to me, he won't compliment John Collins for one reason. He doesn't have the size. K-Love and John Collins are pretty much the same. In terms of body, obviously John Collins will run circles around him, out-jump him, do all of that type of stuff. But body-wise, bro, you can't take on Embiid. I could barely take on Embiid, and I got more athletic ability than you. K-Love, they need somebody that is going to complement John Collins. Andre Drummond.
Yeah, Drummond.
Andre Drummond complements what they want to do. He gets up and down. He's a big that has athletic ability. He's going to rebound. We got a team full of shooters. We need guys to get these boards too. We need a guy that's going to, because Trey tries, but we know he's not a defensive stalwart. He's going to get beat. Kevin Huter's going to get beat. Cam Reddish, I don't even know what the hell he's doing on defense, right? So they're very lackadaisical on defense. Andre Drummond brings that out. He complements what they want to do for now and in the future.
Got a question. Why in the hell did Vince Young pass that ball to Cam Reddish when he had a layup?
Vince Carter.
I said Vince Young.
Yeah.
Shout out to Vince Young.
I know, right?
So I asked that somewhat rhetorically because I think when I saw it, a couple of things went through my head. He's just trying to mentor the young brother and give him opportunities in game situations. And that's why he did it. That's the only reason. I mean, it would have tied the game, but Vince Carter is a veteran. He knows you take the 2 and you play, free throw game, right? But what came out of that was Cam Reddish's look. The look of dejection on his face when he didn't hit that. It looked like that man was broke. And like he didn't have any confidence. That concerns me.
Didn't they say that in Duke too? Wasn't it all about confidence?
He's very nonchalant. That was coming out of high school. He's very nonchalant.
Then how was he this high rated out of high school?
Talent, bro.
But you know who else they said that about? T-Mac. They didn't think about how long it took T-Mac to really realize what he was in the league. So everybody isn't a snap of the finger, man.
Yeah.
It takes some.
I'm just saying, but like you get to the NBA, bro, like there's only a select few in the world.
Measurables. Look at his measurables: 6'8", almost 6'9", wingspan, athletic.
I mean, we
with a
documented
jumper.
it. Yeah, we talked about it on this show. We saw it. Like we came in here on this show, and all three of us was like, Cam Reddish, that dude.
Yep.
And then after that, something happened. But he has the talent still. I think it's just in-game confidence, and I think that's what Vince Young was doing. He was trying to kind of coach him up, like get him to a point where he feels better about himself. That's the only thing that made sense about that pass.
Yep.
Because it did. I mean, that shit.
Because Vince Carter's literally wide open to tie the game.
Yes. Yeah. They were down by 3.
Oh, they were down.
Yeah, so they would have got within one.
Okay.
But you foul LeBron, I mean, you know,
Yeah, of course,
probably
of course,
liable
of
to
course.
miss
Yeah.
one or
Mhm.
one or
If
both.
not both, yeah.
Yeah, so you give yourself a shot at that. So yeah, so that was interesting to me. But yeah, it was just a look on his face, man. And you know, we've had talks or there have been discussions about, you know, his confidence and his mentality. And he looked hurt, and it looked like, I think Trey was trying to, you know, boost him up.
Did you see Trey in that game?
He wanted that one, man.
Hey man, look man.
Shout out to LeBron, man, for playing that game too, man. 'Cause
Oh,
I know he
100%.
was tired as hell.
Hell yeah.
Been all over because he went to see his son played that night in Miami. We know Thursday he probably was out doing all kind of crazy stuff. So and you know he was taking shots at Kawhi.
Yeah, I know. And that
Low
low management. If I'm healthy, I'm playing.
But let's be honest. Has that not been from year 1 to year 17?
Yeah, no, he's been consistent with that.
Yeah, he's always played.
Yeah,
I
he's
mean,
been-
he's done his
always-
part. But I think he comes from that generation. His draft class to me is that last
That last
generation
one.
of like
Because those
You know
were the
what I mean?
last ones that were watching.
yeah,
those
exactly.
previous
You know what I'm
games.
saying? So like,
Yeah.
No, I agree.
we talked about
Trades.
one more trade. DeMar DeRozan. I heard he's on the block. Is
Him
that
and
surprise-
LaMarcus.
Is
Gotta
that
get
both
him
are.
out. Bye.
both of them?
Get him out of there.
One if
Does it
not
happen
both.
this season?
100%.
needs to.
It needs to.
They are not Spurs. We talked about it last week. They just are not Spurs, man.
Is there such thing as a Spurs player anymore?
100%.
Well,
Yeah.
it was just Kawhi. He's the last Jedi.
No.
Kawhi wasn't a Spur, apparently.
Well,
I don't know about that. He
To a
was-
degree.
he fit the measurable.
Yeah.
everything he did
Somebody
was Spurs
did.
like until the end.
Somebody in his head. Then.
you
Yeah,
know what it
Palpatine.
was? You know what it was? I think some of the older Spurs mess with him too much. The Tony Parkers, the Ginobilis.
Even
'Cause-
David Robinson came out making quotes. I'm
remember-
like, all right, bro, I gotta
Yeah.
go.
So I think mentally he was, but I just think all of the outside
Gotcha.
noise, even inside of his own building,
Because he
mess
don't
with him.
talk, he ain't personal.
Yeah.
You can see he's the guy that they're trying to make like laugh and like, hey, come out, do it. Like he don't really want to.
But they got Spurs. I think DeJounte Murray is
He's
a
a
Spur. Lonnie Walker, I don't know. They've been some discussions about him. Talented in terms of I think he can score. But I
Patty
think
Mills is a Spur.
Patty Mills is definitely a Spur. So they need a star that's a Spur.
Yep.
And that's going to be hard to
So
find.
they get traded to what team fits? Like what team needs a DeMar DeRozan or LaMarcus Aldridge?
Shit, I don't know, man. I think DeMar is.
He ain't out the league.
He's not out the league, but he
He can still throw up 20 a game.
His run's almost over.
Nah, I won't say
Nah,
that.
it's
He's
not
still
over.
young.
What
It's
is he?
not over.
C tier? B?
He's a B.
He's a B. He's a B tier.
So was LA.
They're both Bs.
LA go back to Portland.
So I put it to you like this, right? Like I think that it just depends on what you're interested in, right? I think that the best trade target would be OKC, and it's not for CP. But if OKC wanted to make the playoffs, right? Because they're not like completely horrible. You know,
They're getting better. They've gotten a lot
I think
better.
they're the
getting
eighth seed at the.
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? They're still in the running.
Yeah, they're starting to. Yep.
And Sam Presti's a smart ass guy. We know this. If you go trade for DeMar DeRozan, right? Give up maybe one of these future draft picks that you got or whatever. Your ceiling is very low. We're gonna make 6, 7, or 8 this year, and that's about it, right? We're like, what else do we have that's gonna get us over that hump? Because obviously, if you're gonna get DeMar, the Spurs are gonna want Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. And that's kind of your one guy that you're not going to want to let go. And also, if you bring in DeMar, you can't let go of Steven Adams at this point because you're going to need his championship. He played in the finals. Was he on that team?
No, he wasn't.
Okay, he wasn't on the team, but he's gotten real deep in the playoffs, right? Like he's seasoned. So I think OKC would be the best trade partner, but I don't see. I think OKC's playing the long game again. And because of that, I don't see him making that move. But I think that in terms of taking on DeMar, giving DeMar the role that he expects at this point in his career, OKC's the best spot. But
I think with DeMar, I would like to see him. I think the team I would really like to see him is with the Nuggets. I think he can make that team I'm not gonna say he's a player that can get him over the hump, but I think he makes that team a little bit more
I
interesting.
think he uses
Gets
for
them more
late game
legit.
situations.
He makes them more legit.
Yeah.
And as far as LA, I would see Golden State.
So hold on. Before Golden State or that, let's talk about Denver, right? So because remember, trades are two ways.
They have enough guards to
Who
move
you
on.
giving up? You giving up Gary?
Bye.
And that's a Spurs player, by the way.
Yep.
Gary Harris is
I
that's
say
a Spurs
I
guy.
say Gary
Bye.
and maybe Barton too.
Bye.
Yeah, Will Barton.
Yeah,
He's
that
flexible.
that's enough for DeMar.
That ain't enough for DeMar.
That's
No,
a
no,
sec- this
no,
is
no, no.
this is
It-
second hand
it's-
DeMar.
It's not enough for the Spurs. I want Jamal Murray. You see what I'm saying? So it has to be two ways.
You can
Yeah.
have Michael Porter.
Denver wants Michael Porter because they're actually trying to move guys to get him minutes, and he's
I
been playing
noticed that.
better and better.
He got 11 minutes last night.
Yep.
Well, the last time they played.
My thing is like I would thought by now he get way more minutes than he getting. But
He got to earn it.
He got to earn
gotta
it.
earn it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he got to
He a
earn
top
it.
pick.
It don't matter.
Got to earn it, man.
Don't matter.
Got to earn it. With
Culture.
With because that team isn't depleted at their position.
my thing is
Exactly.
like then why draft him that high if you're not gonna play him
Because
like
he
that?
was the best player
He
available.
fell to him. And the thing about Denver's been disappointing so far this season, but I think is
Well, they're
Jokic.
not that disappointed. They still a top
They-
four.
they
seed.
started the-
They're supposed to be top three.
Yeah, they started to string together some wins,
one
but
spot out.
Jokic,
No. But context. They
Yeah.
don't
And
look
they're
that
tied.
good.
They're tied
No.
with they're tied for third.
What's Joker's averages this year?
Yeah,
Them
Joker-
shits are way down.
yeah, they go. Joker hasn't been playing the way he played last year.
He was an MVP candidate
Yeah.
last year, and he was for some people a favorite this year. He nowhere near that
He's
conversation.
taking a step back, and they go as he go.
Yep.
And that's why they
100%.
haven't been
Yeah,
performing.
I mean his numbers aren't that impressive, but I mean they're tied for third with the Mavs at 17-8. So that's essentially being third.
Yeah, but they don't look the same. They don't look right. I'm gonna give props to Indiana because I wrote them off early, and they have started to look a lot better.
Yeah, they six.
Yep.
And did you see Oladipo on ESPN and FS1 and all of that? He was saying by the end of the year, Indiana will be 100% healthy. So he's including himself.
Well, he need to get his ass off the Masked Singer and back in the gym. Nigga, I ain't
Yeah,
try-
come on, now
come
you know
on,
he's
man. He
gonna
over here trying to
see-
get out of art.
See, you the media.
Nah,
right now, man.
nah.
You the media. So you mean
Come
to tell
on,
me
man.
that I can't be a professional and enjoy myself, man?
It's
Is that
one
what
thing.
you're telling
It's
me?
one
What
thing.
do you want him to do, Nick?
It's one thing to go bowling, like Le'Veon did. It's another to be on a Fox produced program.
Why not?
Masked Singer? Because
What's that gonna do?
He wasn't jumping and dancing.
I'm not saying this. I'm not trying to kill the guy. But at the same time, like he's saying that like we're gonna be 100%. Like all right, bro. Like
So
you
we're
out
just-
here singing and shit.
But he's working too. You can't do both.
You can.
All right.
And I heard the NBA season allows the most free time.
All I know is that Dion played in a World Series and a Super Bowl, didn't he?
That's sports though, right? That's in shape.
But that's more demanding. That's more demanding than me putting on this couch and singing for an hour.
I'm only just questioning the use of his time. That's the only thing I'm questioning.
What else you gonna do?
Come on, man.
Sorry.
Exactly.
I-
Watch
I
tape.
work out. Like, come on, man. This is Oladipo. He
They
done earned the
They
right.
ain't the top 3 seed.
Oladipo has
They got-
earned the right to go on
He
whatever
ain't
TV
earned-
show
come
he
on.
wants to and sing.
I'm not trying to shit on Oladipo, but he ain't earned shit. What has he done? What has he done to earn something?
What was he not first team all defense last year?
He's earned the right, man.
Was he not an all-star? Was he not
Yeah.
20 plus? Did he not take
He can play.
lowly Indiana that we didn't have no expectation
Where you take him
about?
to?
Took him to the playoffs. He took him further than Dak has.
Right now, the Thunder are expected to be in the playoffs. So
Listen,
that says about that's the
if-
same. I take that the same way.
If you ask me that, if we were talking about Orlando Oladipo,
Oh yeah, that's different.
we could talk.
Even
But
OKC's Oladipo.
even OKC,
Indiana's Oladipo.
different.
He's the
I
man.
fuck with Oladipo. All I'm just saying is that he better be back and he better be hitting when he get back.
What? Come on, man. Now we
some
know it's gonna
time.
take him. Come on.
Let's-
You gotta-
let's,
We seen how much time he got. Go ahead.
Brandon Ingram.
balling.
Let's shout that brother out, man, because
Ballin'.
there were questions. I told y'all.
I told y'all too. What year is this? What year is this, Ken?
I know-
What year is this?
No,
I'm
year is
just
this?
I'm just saying that when I said he looked like he was playing really, really well last year, y'all jumped on me.
Okay, so
we was talking about to stay though. He was inconsistent last year.
He can be doing this in LA.
And and FIFO talked about the pressure of playing with LeBron.
Yes,
And you see-
I think it was more of the pressure about playing with LeBron than anything else. And here's the thing that I said about Brandon Ingram. And look, everybody watching, y'all could go back last year. And I said in last preseason, I saw what I felt that I needed to see for him to take a step forward. And I think he took like a half step forward last year. And I think a lot of that had to do with the pressures of playing with LeBron and him trying to figure it out. That's super big, bro. You know, 99% of the players in the NBA are going to defer to LeBron if he's on the team. It is what it is, right? So I think a lot of that held him back a little bit. But what did he average last year? Like 16?
He broke out towards the end of the season where he was putting up 20-something a game. He had a nice run to close that year.
He
out.
did, but for the season average last year, I want to say he was like 16, 18.
Hold on, I got you. I'll pull it up.
He was like 16, 18. I know for a fact this year he's over 20 or right at 20. He has to.
Yeah. Last year he was at 18.3 points a game. He's at 25 this year.
25 this year, and then the year before that he was like at 14.
I got you. Hold on. So this is his fourth year. To answer your earlier question, so he started at 9, went to 16, went to 18, and jumped to 25.
So fourth year in the league. What do I always say? 3 to 5. This is and I think it was addition by subtraction.
Yep.
That weight of playing with LeBron and those expectations, especially as most early players, they just can't handle that. And Brandon Ingram, we could see his personality on his sleeve. That's just not him. But somebody like Kyrie, rookie year, Brian, you're not better than me. Give me the ball. He had that Kobe mentality. There's certain guys that could play with that and certain guys that can't, right? And I think that now that the Pelicans didn't, like, whose team is the Pelicans? We thought it was going to be Zion's team, right?
And we won't know until he comes back.
And we won't know until he comes back, and he might sit out the rest of the year, which I'm a fan of.
That's
Get
crazy.
that man right. But you know, we knew Drew Holiday was the best veteran on the squad. But from the moment that this season started, and I've watched that New Orleans Pelicans squad, it's been Brandon Ingram's squad. And quietly, because he's not demonstrative, he still don't speak as much as I would like him to on the court, but his play is doing all of the talking. All of the talking. And, you know, like I also saw something like about a month ago, did New Orleans mess up by not giving him an extension? And my answer is no, because who saw 25 points a game? Based off of what he did with the Lakers, I'm not giving this man a max extension. You out of here. I'm about to send my franchise back. But he done earned it now.
Yep.
He done earned it.
Yeah, I would say
And they got to lock him up.
I really like this. I don't know what you call it, the Phoenix rise from the ashes of the Lakers draft picks. I like this. I was really intrigued.
One. Only Rose.
Are you talking about the Lonzo Ball?
Brandon Ingram, the only one, bro.
They haven't really given Lonzo Ball enough chance to play.
Maybe he hasn't earned it because he's not hurt. He's not hurt. He's not hurt. And maybe Drew Holiday in the way. I don't know.
Josh Hart is there too. He's doing his thing.
And Lonzo, man, got sold a bill of goods. Like we got hustled.
I don't honestly. I still think that he needs to be more aggressive. But if you look at the shooting percentages, the man took an amazing step
Because he's
forward.
taking like 3 a game.
I would say this.
No. He's shooting like 40% from 3.
He's taking 3 shots a
say
game.
His free throw percentage jumped up 20 points.
He was overdrafted. That's all it is. I'm not gonna say he's a bust or he was a bad player, but he was overdrafted.
I put it to you like this. I think the literal difference between Lonzo Ball being where he is now, benched and all of that, and just being in the doghouse versus him being a legit starter in the league is aggressiveness. That if he changes that one thing, he's a starter in this league.
That Chino Hills in him.
You know what? But I also like I've been on the Ball brothers for years now, right? And when you watched when all three of them were in high school, Lonzo was the setup guy. You know what I'm saying? He was more aggressive in high school than he was even in UCLA, and he was aggressive at UCLA.
He's shooting 37% from the field.
Was he shooting from 3?
You said,
42.
Don't try to.
The field and from 3 is 2 different things now.
He moving the goalpost.
I didn't move the goalpost. I said I know what I said.
All right.
Yeah.
But
30%. Well, hold on. 33% from 3
This
now.
year?
Yeah.
Oh, it went down. But it's still better than last year.
All right, man.
But either
Okay,
but either way, like he was the ultimate setup guy, right? Jello was just a scorer, and Melo had to do a little bit of everything because he was the smallest and the youngest. And we see that translate in their games now. The reason why Jello's not in the league, even though I think he could play in the NBA, He's a one-trick pony. He's just a catch and shooter. He can't play defense. He has a big body that he doesn't really use on the defensive side. He'll body little guys on the offense, but he doesn't use it defensively.
He should be better, man.
He should be better.
He should be better.
He should be like a 6 or 7 rebound guy. Are you talking about Lonzo or Jello?
Lonzo.
Oh, Lonzo.
Oh, you talking about Jello?
No, Lonzo should be. I agree. But I'm saying Jello could be in the league, but he just doesn't use his body.
And he don't make good decisions.
And he don't make good decisions on and off the court. But Melo, that boy for real.
They talking about it like he is.
That boy for real. Let me ask y'all this, right? Tied for the best record in the NBA. Do you think they need to make a move, the Milwaukee Bucks in this trade deadline?
Because of the injury to Eric Bledsoe?
Oh, he got hurt?
He's not going to be out for the season, but he's out for a little bit.
That's the guy I've been saying that they need to move.
We got some breaking news, man, and this just hurts my heart, man.
Where Eli retired?
Josh Gordon.
What
I don't
happened?
even need to say anymore. Y'all already know.
He got
got
drug
that
tested.
game?
Suspended, yeah, indefinitely for violating league's policies on PEDs and substance abuse. They can't let him back in, man.
Yeah, that's a wrap.
They can't. I was so ready to praise him.
You know what
Did you see that catch he had?
Yeah,
Off the fingertip?
Yeah.
I was so ready to, because I was like, man, he almost 2 games.
I'm just gonna say this.
Damn.
You know how we
man.
talked about we never seen anybody get like special treatment like Cat before as far as that whole setup and everything.
Yeah.
I when we said that, I was thinking like, is there anybody else that got special treatment in the NFL? Josh Gordon, he
know
had
what it
naked
is.
pictures on somebody. Because
It
for
makes
how
sense.
long that had Cleveland was trying to fuck with him, then he get to the Pats and they was trying to fuck with him. Then he gets to Seattle. Like these are outside of Cleveland. Those are 2 powerhouse franchises that if you do right by them, they'll take care of you, or at least keep you in for the season. You can't stop.
I think when he got cut from the Pats, I think that I mean it's breaking. It's a lot we don't have. But I was asking myself, I was like, man, I'm surprised he didn't get back on drugs after he got cut from the Pats, because I wonder how mentally that would have impacted him, in terms of depression and stuff. But
I'm gonna say it like this: if we have teams in states that have legal marijuana, we need to remove that rule from all professional.
like
sports.
the MLB have just passed, it is no longer an illegal substance.
I agree
in
with
Major
that,
League
but 2
Baseball.
things can be true. They can remove that ban, and also you need to be more responsible for your actions. If the league says that you are not allowed to do these drugs, you're not allowed to do these drugs, this and but you're getting paid millions of dollars or potentially millions of dollars to play a game.
100%.
If you
but
just stay
if-
off the drugs.
But if something is legal, right? Like if I go play a basketball, football game, drunk as fuck, but I'm still performing, is that not a problem?
But I'll ask you this: if there's only, I'll let you do anything you want. You just can't do these things.
and
You know what I'm saying?
But
Like,
there was also a football player who quit because he couldn't smoke weed.
and
I
that's
forgot his
stupid.
name.
And yeah, was he for the
Hey,
Bills?
man.
It's not stupid for everybody.
Yeah, I think that's what
It's
it is.
stupid from our perspective because you know what you got in your bank account, and I know what I got in my bank account, and I know what you should have in your bank account.
But Josh Gordon, even though dude quit, he wasn't a Josh Gordon talent. You know what I mean? Josh
Yeah.
Gordon was supposed to be like a
All
top
time.
3.
And I think he
all
played
time.
for the Cowboys.
Yeah, I think it was either.
But it
Cowboys
don't
or
matter.
Bills.
But yeah, we can get back to basketball. I just saw
Yeah.
it pop up, and I was like, man, I was
I
rooting
ain't got-
for him,
yeah,
man.
I ain't got.
Yeah, but they need to remove this ban, and once they remove it, they need to reinstate him.
Damn.
Because the man could play, bro. And
Nah,
That-
FIFO,
but
they
that's-
can't bring him back.
you can't bring-
No.
Oh, so you mean to tell me that you changed the rule and then you don't let the man?
Oh,
That's what
I
I'm
thought-
saying.
oh,
No,
I'm sorry. I
no.
misheard.
I say yes.
As long you say yes to what?
Because he's clearly not abiding by the rule. You're gonna conform to him.
He
then
said
say-
that the rule is changed.
If the rule,
Even
is
if the rule changes.
but they shouldn't change it because of Josh Gordon. Is my stance. They just need to change it because it's legal in almost half of the states now.
To me, that's just decision
I'm just
making.
saying, Denver,
It is.
Seattle. You know what I'm saying? All of the teams in Cali. You know what I'm saying? Like
We in there.
So
start investing.
DC. No, you should.
It's almost too late.
I am.
I was gonna say you better get
I
in
am.
because they ain't
Nah,
letting
I'm-
black folks in.
I'm in now. I'm looking for companies. I'm investing now.
Hey, look,
I bought some stocks.
I'm gonna tell y'all like this. So everybody watching, there's a company out there called ACB. Just look them up and tell them FIFO sent you, and give me a share too while you at it. You know what I'm saying? Because when it blows up,
Yep.
just let.
It's coming.
I told you.
Were we on basketball?
We talking about the Bucks?
Yeah, the Bucks. So obviously they're tied
Best
for the
team in
best
the league?
record.
Tied for best.
Tied for best
Yeah.
with the Lakers.
I
I
say
didn't
that-
know Eric Bledsoe sustained an
Was
injury. What was that? The last 1 or 2 games?
Yeah, it was just recent.
Okay, so that's the reason. Because I don't watch the Bucks either. They're good.
I thought you like Giannis.
I do like Giannis, but
I don't watch him like that either.
Yeah, I don't
It's
watch
Milwaukee. That's what it is.
No, it's not even that. You know what? Like my thing is that I have favorite players. Giannis is up there, but when you're succeeding, I know what you're doing. I know why.
I got a question before that we can close out the show. Our top 5 league pass teams.
I got you.
Yeah.
But like I like to watch the teams that are more so up and coming for me to be able to break down and digest and see what they should do, what they could do, where they're moving, what their vision is. So that's why I watch the Memphises of the world. Why I watch Phoenix. You know what I'm saying? I watch those teams because I want to see how they're doing. You know what I'm saying? But in terms of the Bucks, man, I'll put it to you like this. Chris Middleton has stepped up. To me, he feels like a different player than last year playoffs. He doesn't feel like he's going to be limited. I think he's definitely legitimately Giannis's sidekick now. But I still don't think it's enough to win a chip. As pleasantly constructed, I don't think they could beat the Lakers. And I think they can make it out the East, but I think that Philly and or Miami is going to be really tough for them.
I won't. I think you're saying the Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think they make it out the East?
I'm saying they can. I just think that the two teams that can hurt them moving in the East is Miami. 'Cause Miami just got a whole bunch
I think
of
I
dogs.
agree with you in Miami.
And then Philly because of their size.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree.
So
I still think they're gonna get out the East.
that's cool. But I'm saying to like, but even so, do you think that they can beat whoever comes out of the West? Is that because I don't think they could beat the Lakers as they're constructed right now. I don't.
Probably not. Yeah, I think both LA teams. I don't think they. Can
I
beat
think
the
both LA
Lakers.
teams. And I'll put it to you like this: I think it's a worse matchup for the Milwaukee Bucks if the Clippers make it.
I was gonna say the Lakers, because I don't think they have a good enough bigs to guard AD. I think Giannis and LeBron would cancel each other out.
Well,
as far as
here's the thing:
performance.
I think Giannis will guard
AD?
because they ain't got no other option.
That's what I was gonna
Yeah,
say.
he would have to.
He
But
would have
that's
to.
a lot of bang bang on Giannis, and he's the one that gets you.
But
the ball.
AD don't really bang like that either, though.
No, I mean as far as bang bang, as far as energy, he has to put energy to clamp him down.
But when you want to be the best, you got to
you
expect
right,
all
you right.
energy.
You got to.
It's just and Giannis is at that point in his age. What is he? 20, 24, 25?
Yeah, he ain't even 27.
Yeah, he's not even 27. So bruh.
I was gonna say with another injury as far as point guard, Luka, he got right ankle
2
injury.
weeks.
2 weeks.
Yep.
Expectations for KP, because I feel like this is where
None.
Yeah, it's gonna take a year for him, like a year on court to get back to.
So
where
now
he was.
Dallas can. If they drop in the playoff seeding, you're not gonna be surprised.
No, I wouldn't
even
be
if they do have
It's gonna happen.
because they got another they got a top 3 player on their squad as well too, still with KP. And you saying
He
this
was.
top 3 what?
He's not in
in the draft
right now.
As far as the draft, he was a top 3 pick.
But he's not that right now.
Yeah,
though.
he's not that right now.
That's the only problem.
He's
top 4.
He can get there though.
yeah, next year, like this year, or maybe even like closer to the end.
Because
of the
remember
season.
how long it took Paul George to get back in
Exactly.
form.
Look at Gordon Hayward is just now scratching the surface of what he used to be. It takes a
And
year.
he's been in and out. Because
I think
of his
Utah
back.
regrets letting him go, but
No, I don't. Not you see the squad?
they ain't been playing that well.
Because Mike Conley is just not.
That's a big piece.
No, that is a big piece, and that's the reason why they haven't gotten the wins that they've needed. But you look at that roster. I'd rather have this roster than whatever they had with Gordon Hayward.
No, I'm not saying the whole roster. I'm just saying just him himself.
I don't
He would be
know.
a good piece.
I don't know
He
if
would
they
be
were-
a really good piece.
He
for this
would,
team.
but I don't know if they regret that.
No.
I don't think they had a choice.
Nah, look, man.
Remember? He
Yeah,
left.
yeah, he
he
left.
left.
Well, I don't know if they wanted to match that money.
I wouldn't have.
I wouldn't have either. But to me, between Bogdanovich, who's the lefty that I really like?
Joe Ingles.
Joe Ingles. You know
Joe
what I'm saying?
Paul.
Yeah.
Well, I can't say that because he.
Those two guys recreate what Gordon Hayward gave you, bruh. Those two guys. You combine them and make them.
But not consistent though. They can't.
Joe Ingles is pretty consistent.
But he's like a 10 to 15 consistent. You need more than that.
But also, but what does Bogdanovich gives you? He give you 40-point 3-point shooter, and he gives you 15 to some points a game.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I say you combine those two. They're Gordon Hayward, and also Joe Ingles is also getting acclimated to coming off the bench too.
All right, I'm gonna read some stuff from B.
What do you have to say?
Something about boxing. So Crawford should be pound for pound. And MAGA Kobe got his jaw broken by a black man he referred to before the fight.
Well, Crawford, he's been on Crawford for ever since I've known him now. So, yeah, shout out to Terrence Crawford.
He says Lopez is ready for Lamo, and they will fight in April 2020. And he says, I was wrong about the Lakers. We might have a Bucks versus Lakers finals. Because remember, he said he wanted to see if the Lakers were for real.
Yeah, he was expecting like me to be lower seed in the playoffs, and they obviously number one seed.
Yeah, I forgot about that. But I think, yeah. I was just going to the more recent one where he was talking about the Miami game.
Oh, yeah.
When they broke that streak. So that's what I thought he was referring to. But you're right. He's probably talking about early season projections.
Mm-hmm. So here are, and I know we're trying to transition, but we got to stay on the trade topic because we didn't really talk about a lot of people that could be moved. But here are 12 guys that can be moved as of today. D'Angelo Russell, he can be traded as of today.
I don't think they move him, but go ahead.
Yeah, I think they're gonna wait till the offseason. Because I think they really need to determine what that number one pick is gonna be.
Yep.
Is he a winner?
No, he's not. But that doesn't mean that he can't be, because I think he plays a winning type of basketball.
Yeah. That three he hit to tie the game.
I wish he would have stayed in Brooklyn. I actually don't think
he wanted to, and he want to leave.
I think Kyrie's a cancer. I'm gonna just say that now. I think Kyrie's a cancer.
That's a different topic.
We're gonna talk about it next week.
Yep, we'll talk about it next
Football's almost over, my brother.
Yep. Alec Burke and Willie Cauley-Stein, both of them with Golden State. Both of them signed, or Alec Burke signed minimum. Willie Cauley signed a short-term deal. Marcus Morris from the Knicks can be moved now.
Yeah, I know.
Taj Gibson from the Knicks.
The Clippers were talking about trying to get Marcus Morris.
He was supposed to sign there early, but his agent fucked it up, I think.
Yeah, It was LeBron's agent.
They need all the help they can get.
Wayne Ellington from the Knicks can be moved. Thaddeus Young can be moved. JJ Redick. Jabari Parker, which has been fucking balling.
To see, yep.
Yeah, I hate to see both of those knee injuries,
man.
man. Like, because I remember his rookie year, we did top 5 small forwards in the NBA, and I put him at number 5. And I really feel that if he never got hurt, he would have been a top player. Mm-hmm. And I liked him more than Andrew Wiggins too, coming out of that draft. I said it.
He was number 2, right?
No.
I mean when
Embiid was
when he was drafted, he was 2 or 3.
3.
3. Okay.
Yeah, Embiid was number 2. Wiggins was 1.
Did I like Wiggins more than Parker?
I honestly don't remember. I know my brother did. I tell him all the time. DeMarcus Cousins could be traded. I don't think he's going anywhere. Mike Muscala with OKC. Stanley Johnson. He's going to be out the league.
He's already out.
Well, he's with the Raptors.
Is he playing?
He's playing a little bit, not that much. Yeah.
He's barely a rotational player.
Cam Reddish going to be Stanley Johnson in 4 years.
Shit, it's in his first year. Come on, man.
Dwayne Dedman is another one. So out of those guys, the sexiest name that sticks out to me is Marcus Morris, because I think he's definitely one of those guys that can go to a championship level team, and that's an extra weapon, man.
I fuck with Marcus Morris, and I think he came to the Knicks a year too early, as far as like that veteran presence, because I think we still want to see a lot of. We just didn't get the lineup straight up with the young guys, like you were saying, Ken, like get them more involved. We've been seeing that they went on a 2-game. I'm going to call it a win streak. That's all we got. They won 2 games back-to-back, and they were very competitive against Denver.
RJ getting more minutes.
Yeah, getting more minutes.
Ain't doing shit with him.
He's shooting 40. I think that's the reason why I'm fucked up with Lonzo's thing. But, he's shooting 40% from 3.
Since when? Let me look that up, because he can't hit shit.
Before we get to our top 5 league pass.
Oh, look at B. Said I might be right about the Clippers. Ain't that some shit?
League pass. Breaking news in the chat as well. Terrell Suggs signs with the Chiefs.
Oh,
Big
so,
move.
Yeah.
So,
Big move.
Let me
Hey,
see what they talking about in here.
Shit. Talking about the Chiefs, I'm horrible with names, but the LSU cornerback. They're saying he's the best corner.
Tyrann Mathieu.
No. Not. I'm talking about LSU. He's in
Oh.
LSU right now.
Oh, okay.
Their corner.
Mhm.
I can't think of their name, but they're talking about he's the best corner in the draft. I saw a couple of mock drafts, and they're saying
I can't think of his name. I know who you're talking
Yeah,
about. Stitwell, I think, or something like that.
I couldn't tell you. I just know that's a bad boy. They're talking about Kansas City is probably going to draft him this upcoming draft.
They need that. Hey,
They
they lost.
need that.
I don't know why they let Peters go, Marcus Peters, but
He loud. Stingley.
He is.
Stingley Jr. has to
Yep.
be.
he's productive.
That
though.
boy is
Yeah,
bad,
he's a
man.
bad
Yeah.
boy. He's a bad boy. And when I saw it, because obviously the NFL is not like the NBA, right? Like the NBA is literally a lottery. The first 14, you don't know
Yeah.
how it's gonna pan out. But the NFL is based off of your record.
Yeah.
So we pretty much know where Kansas is gonna pick, like in the 20s. You know what I'm saying? And I was looking at that, and I'm like, whoa, that is huge
Yeah.
for them.
Yeah.
Huge.
Especially if they definitely
need
need
that.
DB and maybe even
DBs.
linebackers. Just
They need
defense.
DBs.
Yeah. Speaking of that, shout out to Joe Burrow,
Mm-hmm.
Heisman Trophy winner, from Ohio. So definitely a big shout out to him, and also he's gonna be a Cincinnati Bengal. So
Yep.
I can't wait to root for you. New decade.
Yeah. You might as well throw out the red carpet.
Yeah, I'm
already.
gonna come on board. I'll be rooting for y'all, man. I like Joe. See y'all, man. I'm not what y'all think I am. I'll root for white folks too.
So you find out that he gonna take off that draft hat and put a MAGA one
Hey,
on.
as long as you don't do that, we good.
And keeping in the same energy out of LSU, Grant Delpit, their safety. I'm talking about the Cowboys are probably going to draft him, which is huge because that's one of those positions.
The Cowboys could still try to get Jamal Adams in.
Y'all owe me an
right?
apology for the Raiders.
Is
by
he
the
a
way.
free agent?
I think he's close to coming up. I think you can get him easy, or like
What, like in a trade?
or like if you give a pick.
But they should have did that.
I'm saying they still have it. They can still make up. But all right, you got anything else, Ken?
I said y'all owe me an apology for the Raiders. But
Hey, that was a shitty way to go out in Oakland.
man, they may not. If they lose out, it's over. Damn, why does the title not change? Okay. Oh shit. Hold on. Now I was trying to see if there's anything in the chat. Was just let's see. Waiters, anything on Deion Waiters? Julian Serena.
He gonna probably be out the league.
Yeah, he probably going to be out the league. So did you hear the latest? Obviously, we know about the edible in the plane.
But I read a little synopsis of the story that he called in sick. And
called
then
it sick, and then he posted on IG at some fucking club or some shit.
Yeah.
On a boat or something. Like, what is you doing,
You know,
man?
we already know you in Miami. You know you're gonna have a good time. But now you calling out for work.
Here's why post a fucking picture?
Hey,
Stupid.
it's
I think he's
2019.
trying to get fired. He like who's that coach trying to get fired? He like Fizdale. He's just trying to get out of there.
But why? Miami's balling right now.
Because he's
he
not
ain't got
playing.
no minutes.
Yeah, he's not playing. That white boy stole his minutes. Tyler Hero. Janoris Jenkins, I guess he got claimed by somebody, but yeah,
They
he
said,
got.
Oh, really? Already?
Yeah,
Yeah.
They were talking about he's gonna get picked up by a contender.
You think he should have apologized?
What happened? Like, 'cause I didn't even
He
know
was,
he got cut.
he was
He said a word that people don't. He said retard, and people are. That's
He said
that
it to
word's
a-
offensive.
He said it to
now.
a fan
Yeah, it is.
though. Like he was had an interaction with a fan. So
I just hope he wasn't.
I get it. It makes sense.
Yeah.
and they were trying to move off on him anyway. That's why I was like they was ready for him, and now you just gave them everything they needed to send you off. But if that's it, then y'all want to get into the top fives? League
Yeah.
Uh,
Top 5 league
yeah,
pass
that's
teams.
pretty much it.
I'll start off with.
Give me your 5. You ain't got your 5, don't go.
All right, go ahead.
All right. So my 5, Philly, even though I know I said I don't really watch top contenders, but I'm a big Ben Simmons and Embiid fan, so I try to watch as many Philly games as possible. Dallas, and what Luka's doing, man. And, Luka and Trey are always going to be linked.
Mm-hmm.
So, me being in Atlanta, wanting Georgia teams to do well because I'm from here now. You know what I'm saying? I'm always watching them, and because Luka is just so linked to Trey, I watch Dallas. And obviously, I didn't think that they were going to be this damn good. At the beginning of the season, I knew Luka was going to come out and ball, but I didn't think he was going to translate to wins the way it has. Phoenix. I'm a big Devin Booker guy. Big Devin Booker guy. So I really wanted, or I really am invested in seeing his progression as a basketball player. So that's why I really watched them. And it's been sad I haven't really been able to see DeAndre Ayton because of this PED.
I know he back tomorrow.
He's back tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was what, 25 games?
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Damn.
It's tough,
It's a
man.
quarter of the season.
Yeah. So, I've missed that. And then just think about how good they've been doing without him. Now you add him. So, I'm
Hopefully he's in
excited.
shape.
Yep. The Hawks, even though technically we can't watch them on League Pass because we live in Atlanta, but that's still one of the teams that I try to watch as many games as possible. For obvious reasons, Trae Young, because, look, man, I like to be vindicated. And I knew I was right about fucking Trae Young, man. Everybody over here talking about I was crazy as hell. Nah, Trae Young is the truth. And then the last team, Memphis. Obviously me being a point guard, and again, me liking to be vindicated. I had oh damn, what the hell was we watching? We were watching something here at the studio. I want to say it was probably one of my power parties. And before power came on, John Morant, what school did he play for last year?
He played for
GCU?
All that school?
Nah, it was
School's so small.
it was
don't
two
even know.
names.
Either way,
Let me look it up.
he was playing in a tournament, and one of my ex friends was here, and we were talking. He was like, "Nah, man, I don't see the greatness. This, that, and the third. I think he's gonna be a bust. He's just flashy dribbles and flashy passing." I said, "Bro, you don't know what the hell you talking
Murray
about."
State.
Murray State. Yeah, it was definitely in the tournament, and I was telling my guy, "Hey, man, this is gonna be the guy." And, I had to watch to vindicate myself because John Morant, to me, as of right now, he's Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
I won't disagree with you
You
on
saw
that.
that dunk on Baines?
Man.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Hey, he's one of my favorite young guns.
I feel like every young top pick got like them dunks that we gonna look back like when they 10 years in the league, like, damn, I remember when they used to get up.
Yeah, because John Morant, look, by year 2 or 3, all of them are going to be finger rolls, bro. He ain't gonna be dunking on people like that no more.
My top 5, I'm gonna start with 2 of them that y'all should already know. Obviously, Portland and the Knicks, for reasons that I probably have shared many a times already. Utah Jazz, because
You
that's
say Portland?
yeah, because they got
Really?
Melo.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Should have put that 2 and 2 together, kid.
I forgot Melo was there.
No, don't forget now. Utah Jazz, because I picked them to go to the Western Conference Finals, which is why I need them to start.
You want your vindication?
I can't talk about them yet. I'm watching. And I also like watching the Clippers, obviously, because I expect them to win it all this year. And last but not least, what was the last one? Milwaukee. Just because I want to see. Because the more and more y'all talk about Giannis, and I was high on him last year a lot too. Potentially being an MVP contender. Actually, he probably is. It's between right now. It's between him, LeBron, and AD.
Yep.
And AD and LeBron are obviously gonna cancel each other. One of them's gonna cancel each other out. I just want to see where he can go from here, and I just like to see how his jump shot is. He's shooting more, and he's
It's better.
it's better. So I want to see how that progresses throughout the season. So yeah, those are my 5.
Mine is damn near identical to Ralph's. So I'm gonna start with Memphis. Obviously, Ja Morant, and I like Jaren Jackson Jr. I liked him last year, and I like what Dylan Brooks is doing. I remember watching him in Oregon, so it's good to actually see him get a chance to play. But I'm here for the show, man. Ja Morant, that's it. Yeah, but you take Ja Morant off that team, I'm not.
It's
I'm not
Memphis.
watching. Yeah, I'm not watching. Of course, Luka, man, and I like 3-6 Latvia. It's a shame he's not back, but I'm sure he'll get that. But it's all, man. Luka's that dude, and I like Rick Carlisle, man. I think he can coach. I think he's a really good coach. The Hawks, and I know what Trae can do, but I want to see what Cam and the young gun and DeAndre do.
Yep.
So I want to see how they develop and progress as the season goes on. Philly, man. I mean, they're just a mess. Like, and it's all for good reasons because they win, and there's always a fun drama around it.
I was gonna say like it's like watching a car crash. It's a mess, but you just can't take your eyes off.
Yeah,
Like,
they have personalities. They have characters. Even those that are vocal, those that are not. Embiid, Ben Simmons with his play and the things that he do. Tobias Harris just got off. it's just something about them that just intrigued me. And I Philly's one of my favorite teams anyway, man. That we're talking about.
You know what it is too? They're super unique. There's not
Yeah.
another team like them.
And Thabu, I shitted on him, but
I
you
told
know
you,
he
baller,
doing all right.
man.
He doing all right.
He's doing what he's supposed to do.
But yeah, I love Philly for the music. We talking about TSOP. So, and then the Lakers. Yeah, the one team that I don't have that we differ on is you have the Suns, I have the Lakers. Only because I'm like, how is this going to work? And that's why I've been watching. And whenever they win close games, I want to see how do they win those close games in the fourth quarter. How did they come back against Miami when you're down by 14 points in the first half? You know, what changed? How are these pieces working together? So that's why I'm watching them, play and see, like, just to kind of get an idea of can they win it all? And there are moments where I'm like, yeah, they can. Then there are moments like, I don't know. But I think I'm on yeah, they can right now.
So two things about the Lakers, Ken, I want to ask you. So that game that they came back against Miami, did you see what LeBron said about that?
You talking about what about AD and Cousins said to him?
Yeah, how everybody was coming at him.
I thought that was really interesting, and there are two thoughts I had that came after that game. I don't know if I've ever heard any other player get on him about that before.
Not during the game.
Yeah, that's different.
Not that he would verbalize.
Yeah.
Right? But when I saw that, what I read into it between the lines was LeBron's never played with another player that has this much weight to the other person's name.
Yeah.
Like AD, that got some weight to its name. Like if AD call me out, what am I gonna say? Oh, you bum! And then you can say he's your equal. And then even DeMarcus, right? Like we gotta retreat by 3-4 years now. But when DeMarcus was in his prime, like that last year in New Orleans, we talking about 25. 12,
13-5.
Yeah, like we talking about arguably top 5 in the league. So,
and I don't think it's because of DeMarcus' abilities. That's just who DeMarcus is.
100%.
So that 100%. And that goes to that locker room construction that we're talking about. But yeah, I thought that was really interesting that he put that out there publicly, and that they
or
did
that
it.
he validated it.
Yeah, or that they're not afraid to approach him like that. There are a lot of teammates that won't say anything to LeBron, but to get on him at halftime, like, yo, bro, you playing too fast, passive. Come on now, we need you to go. I thought that was interesting, and the way he talks in post games about this team.
Yep.
He
has different. He's never talked like, not even the Miami teams. He ain't talk about him like this.
He always talk about, I'm just trying to make my teammates better.
Yep.
We just taking it game by game. I just want to help my guys. All that. It's no longer a lot of my. It's a lot of we. He
stopped listening to Johnny Gill.
It is different, man. I don't know what it is. I haven't picked it up, but yeah, it was right after the game. I was like, wait a minute. He's not saying like not in a dismissive way, but if I'm Kyrie, I could take it that way. Like you're saying, I'm just trying to make my guys better, and it's just like, or especially when he was in LA, he talked like that all the time.
Yeah, those were.
I know they didn't have any experience, but now it's just different with AD and all these other veterans,
championship guys.
He respect them, man.
Danny Green, champion without Bron. Rondo, champion without Bron.
I'm seeing players fuck up, and he don't even really get mad like that. It's weird, man.
Hey, when you get older, you just when to start yelling and when to not.
Second question I wanted to ask, based off of what you were saying about watching the Lakers. Down the stretch, what are you seeing that you like or dislike in these close games of how they're pulling them out?
LeBron still, I think that's just who he is. He still has untimely, sometimes unforced turnovers. But what I like is that AD's getting the ball. They always go to pick and roll whenever they need something. They're going to go to that.
Left side.
Yep, they're always going to go to that. So it seems like they know how to, when the game is closed, they go to their guys down the stretch. And those are really the observations that I've noticed. The most part is that their execution and what plays Vogel are calling. He just go to the money guys. But it seems like AD really is the guy that they're trying to lean on to win these games.
Yep.
It was he hit a big three. It was a game they were I can't think of
Miami.
It wasn't Miami because he hit 4 in that game, I think. But it was another game where they were trailing and they had to come back, and he hit some big shots down the stretch. I have to look it up and see. But yeah, he's going to they're going to AD, man.
Yeah, and that's the reason why I wanted to bring it up, because I've been highly critical about LeBron, especially like when it comes down to crucial game situations and everything, and about executing and about him making the pass sometimes when he needs to score. But the two times that he literally had a killer with him, Kyrie and D Wade, right? We knew that somehow, some way, those guys were going to get their shot, but either they had to create it themselves or it was like a driving kick from LeBron. The difference with AD is that AD can score in more ways than those two guys can. And where they start off, like you said, is pick and roll, or they just put AD on that left block and give him the ball and everybody clear the hell out.
Mm-hmm.
And because AD is such a matchup nightmare, that's how they're going to win.
It was the Nuggets.
It was the Nuggets.
The Nuggets,
okay.
yeah. That was the game. It was they eventually took control of the game, but the Nuggets got it close. And I think that was a rebound, and AD got it. I think AD scored most of the points down the stretch. Mm-hmm. And they closed the game out.
And I think that, I thought this is what Kyrie was going to do for LeBron back in Cleveland, was like extend out his career, just because we know how dynamic Kyrie is. But we're starting to realize the off the field and even in the locker room drama could be a bit too much around him. Mm-hmm. However, with AD, man, like it's tough, right? Because we talk about the top 3 MVP leaders right now, right? I would say there's 4, right? But Luka just got hurt, but it is what it is. But it's Giannis, the 2 LA guys, and Luka. With the LA guys, right? Like, I feel like if I take AD off of the squad, they're still gonna win, because LeBron is, LeBron's like defensive win shares is like top 10 in the NBA, like, which is ridiculous at year 17 doing what he's doing. But it's like, if you take away AD, what do the Lakers look like with just Bron? I still
Cleveland.
think, but they still
better.
compete though.
Yeah,
they still compete, right?
Yeah.
You take away Bron and just leave AD, New Orleans,
West Coast New Orleans,
and they still a playoff team. But like, when you put both of those guys together, man, they're by far the best duo in the NBA. They complement.
I won't
each
go
other
that
the
far.
most. I disagree, because here's the thing. The same way the way LeBron and D Wade had to get on the same page, because when you're talking about 2 wings like that, there's always going to be one more dominant than the other. It just has to. There's only one ball. But when you have a perimeter guy and a big guy like AD, it's just naturally it works out better.
PG and Kawhi. I came in the season saying the same thing. They're both great, but
I'll put it to you like this.
I got 40 from both already. I haven't
feel
gotten
you.
that from the LA guys.
But
You got 24 wins.
Exactly. And here's the thing. So it's not just about points, because both of those guys are great enough where they're going to have other games that are going to be like that. But when those guys are scoring 50, 60, 70 plus points together, what does that do for the rest of their squad? Because they have to be ball dominant. They have to go get their own shots. When you play off of LeBron and AD can have 40, LeBron can have 25, and Kuzma can have 15, 18. Rondo can have 12 and 9 assists. Everybody else can still get theirs, and that's what makes them the best duo, is that nobody else has to sacrifice. LeBron and AD ain't sacrificing.
And they just chipping in. And that it doesn't seem like it should work, but it is. I think when I look at the Clippers, they can't do it the way that the Lakers do it, because the other guys like Lou Will, Harrell, and stuff like that, like they are a part of that offense. And if you got both of them dominating like that, they're not going to get theirs. And they have to get theirs.
They have to get theirs. But you seen Rondo's three-point shooting?
He's
hitting them.
He's hitting.
Yeah.
He's been increasing his shot.
I heard about it,
since the
and then I
Celtics
saw it
days.
in game. I was like, oh, shit, this is
And
real.
he's not hesitating.
Nope.
It's just,
This is
okay,
real.
bet, I'm open, bet. Because he knows what he needs to do to get the minutes, right?
Yeah.
You look at Danny Green. You look at everybody, including LeBron and AD, nobody sacrificed.
If Kuzma get his shit together,
Yep, Kuzma's the only question mark right now.
man, and they should have shipped his ass out too.
Well, but
Chill out.
I think it was smart to keep him and possibly shipping him out now versus shipping him out then.
He's been hurt, so I'm gonna give him a pass. But yeah,
But you know what though? It does feel like he is the odd man out, because if you take Kuzma off that team, they still have the same record.
They have had the same record without him.
Caruso is making them expendable. He's making them expendable.
That white boy right there,
But at the
He
same
dunked
time,
on somebody. I was like,
but at the same time, like Ken said, Kuzma's been hurt, so we gotta see we gotta play it out.
But you know what? In all honesty,
his confidence it don't look the same.
I would trade Kuzma because when the battles mean something, I don't know if he's ready yet.
You know what I think it is? I think Kuzma, when Kuzma was on the team when it was just LeBron and the rest of the other young Lakers, he knew that he was probably as good, if not better, or felt that he was better than Lonzo. He definitely knew he was better than Lonzo. But B.I., he didn't know, but he felt it. When AD
He felt it
came,
because LeBron trusted him.
yes.
Because he gave him the ball. more
Yeah,
than
he
B.I.
did. Yep, he did. But when AD came, he was like, yo.
Oh, yeah. You talking about?
That dude on a whole nother level. Yep.
He was like, I get it. I see where y'all shipped everybody out for him.
Yep. Yep.
Damn.
Man.
So you say he upgraded pretty much? He left his old chick behind.
But honestly, I think they should trade Kuzma. I don't know who you get.
Nah,
in
I
Not
like
return.
yet.
Kuzma,
Come
nah.
on, man. You
I-
be quick to pull that trigger.
Well, here's the thing.
This ain't 2K here.
Nah, my thing is this. It's just because I don't know how he fits. Because just think about how he
Off the
scores.
bench, right?
That's
But
what he was meant
but
to be.
Even off the bench, he don't gel. He stands out and not in a good way. Because we know defensively he's not a great defender. He's a willing defender, not a great defender. But he's more power forward than small forward. Right?
He'll come around.
Like in his agility. Just think about it. He can't guard perimeter guys like that. He can in stretches, but if you ask him to go guard a perimeter guy, he's gonna struggle, right? Is he big body enough to guard big guy? He's a tweener.
Hey, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Troy Daniels too, man.
Oh yeah.
That's
He
a
coming
weapon.
in.
They can unleash it
Yep,
anytime.
bang bang.
Yeah.
He know what he got to do. Play a little bit of defense. Put these threes up.
Yeah, it's an interesting team, man. I gotta watch more Clippers, but I'm not feeling it.
I can't
man.
get into 'em.
I can't either.
I can't get into him.
What's that? They're just boring.
Doc, Damari Carroll. I like watching those guys play.
I like Harold, but I don't know, man. It's just they just so stiff. They talked all that shit. We're gonna be this is our team now. They can't even win a damn game.
All right, you just talking about your Laker fandom now.
I don't even like the Lakers, like that.
Here's the thing, man.
But nah, I'm gonna watch more.
Clippers ain't gonna beat the Lake Show, bruh.
Christmas Day, we can't wait. Hey,
I think playoffs gonna be different though.
Yeah, playoffs gonna be different, man.
but none of us we get the sneak peek. Well,
Oh, of course,
we already
of
got it
course.
earlier this season. But again,
Where are the Clippers right now in the standings?
they are
Sixth, fifth.
Woo.
I think they got like 8 or 9 losses already. Because Kawhi don't want to play games.
they're actually number 2
They not number 2.
in the West. Yeah,
They are.
20-8. The Lakers are 24-3. The Mavericks
That's
are
what they got.
17-8.
8 losses. Yeah.
Yeah, all that shit.
Where's Portland? Where's Portland?
They
right
were
now?
fifth.
Portland is out of the playoffs right now.
Where are they? Like 10?
They're like 12,
12?
10 and 16.
They got eclipse 4 teams. How far are they away from number 8? many games
They're only a game and a half.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
that's
Okay,
easy.
yeah.
They always start slow.
Yep.
They are a top of the year.
That's
on
all like
team.
that. I was looking at the same thing earlier this week. I was like, how? Like, damn, the Blazers all the way down there. I'm like, oh yeah, these
Yeah, it's a game. Yeah.
game and a half from the Thunder.
Now, if you would have said like 4 or 5 games,
As long as it's within 2,
Yeah, within 2, you can make
that's
that.
a back-to-back night. You could, you good.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to watch more. Like I wanted to watch the 80-point duo game to see how that went down, but I just can't.
It was beautiful.
I don't
It
know,
was
man.
beautiful.
They
I don't
just
think
both
it
was
is.
hot.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, they
man.
I
both
don't think
was
it
just
is,
hot.
man.
It's not as beautiful as the Lakers. It's not.
I like wings.
I do too.
I like wings more than
Jamal's is right down the street. Got some good ass wings. They big as hell. Black owned too. All right, man. That's we appreciate you guys showing up early. But yeah, that's gonna do it for us this week. There may not be a show next week. We're going into the holiday week. Nick is going out of town, but that is TBD. So we'll see. But if we do it, this just came to me. We may do it that Sunday. No, because B got to leave at 12:30. Never mind.
Okay.
Unless he comes back. So we'll see. We'll work it out. But if not, we'll catch you guys at the top of the year. We'll have to do
No,
something.
we'll
have to do something.
there's still the 30th. We could do it on that Monday. Or,
Okay, yeah.
or that weekend. And I get back that the weekend of the 27th.
Okay,
so we
yeah.
can do it whenever then.
Because
Well, typically we take all of this time off.
Yeah.
Typically, we trying to work through it. For
I just want to
y'all.
make sure we get back for after the Christmas.
Maybe
Day
we can
game.
do some
Yeah.
dispatches and just drop in or something. And then
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Yeah, we'll figure it out. So we'll catch y'all next time. We out. Peace.
Peace.